Available, some good ones for the rest of this series. 1 for 14 as a National League hitter. It's 7 strikeouts. Leadoff walk, comes back to score for Cincinnati.
Well, also the first run batted in for Corky Miller. And the fly ball off the bat of Willie Mo Pena set it up because a heads-up base running play by Branyan, where he went from second to third on a fly ball to center, yielded a run on another fly ball.
Over the Cubs on deck circle. 2 strikes to Bale.
It would appear when a pitcher is that late on the fastball, you do him a favor by throwing him anything else. We remember Wade Miller throwing 2 fastballs by Carlos Zambrano, only to throw a slider and watch it go out of the park.
No balls, 2 strikes. Mateo's at first. Breaking ball taken for strike 3 called, and that'll retire the side. A leadoff walk, a single, and 2 deep fly balls plates the first run of the game, and the Reds lead early 1-0.
You've heard about it. You've read about it. Monday.
Yes, we did it.
See it for yourself.
Are you dating? Who's wearing what? Did you kiss him? I just want to get things all out in the open.
The Sharon Osbourne Show.
I'm very open-minded. Tell the mother.
Premieres Monday.
Premiering Monday at 4 on WGN.
Monday, meet Sharon Osbourne. She's balancing 2 TV shows, 3 children, and 1 Prince of Darkness. But what's been her biggest challenge? Find out Monday on WGN News at 9.
This portion of Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by your local Ford store. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
My new Ranger is a best-selling compact pickup for 16 straight years.
My new F-150 is the best-selling vehicle in the world for 21 straight years.
I had a choice of 0 for 72 months or $4,000 cash back through Ford Credit on my Ranger.
My F-150 had a choice of 0 for 60 or $4,000 cash back through Ford Credit.
I got it! I got it!
Whoa! Say we both got it.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. Whether it's full size or compact, they've both bought the best-selling trucks around.
Nothing beats the fun and excitement of watching the Cubs in beautiful Wrigley Field. And you can be there. That's right. Tickets are still available for upcoming Cubs games. To get your tickets, just call tickets.com at 1-800-THE-CUBS. Head to the Wrigley Field box office. Punch in www.cubs.com or visit any Chicagoland Sears or Sears hardware store. Don't wait. Catch all the Cubs action firsthand and get to the game.
If a Cubs player hits a homer today, write down the distance and player's name and send it to WGN TV. You could win 2 round-trip tickets to any Southwest Airlines destination.
Today's Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kids are 9-year-old Heather Burgess of Hebron, Indiana, and Dan Schlitter, 10 years old, from Bartlett, Illinois. They're having a great day at Wrigley thanks to Walgreens, the pharmacy of the Cubs, and the official pharmacy of Steve Stone.
And I've always said, Chip, that if nothing else, your enunciation is sensational. And it's chair giveaway day. And as you can see, there's a very happy fan and a very happy chair.
That Mike Schmidt every now and then can get a broadcaster in a whole lot of trouble if you're not too careful. Here's Alou leading off the 2nd inning. It's a 1-0 Cincinnati lead. Alou, 21 homers, 88 driven in this year. Big comeback year for Alou, and he was a man of his word, Steve. He was very honest, very disappointed with the way he played in his first Cub season. He said, I'm going to come back and show the fans of Chicago what Moises Alou can do.
He's in game 138. And you have to realize what it took at his age to get him ready to play just about every day. So he dedicated himself to this year. He's driven in 88. And all in all, it's been a real solid year for Moises.
Ball and a strike from Bale. And that skips up there for a 2-1 count. Bale's a big guy. He is not a soft tossing left-hander. 6'4", 210 pounds. But 28 years of age.
I mean, big is relative. He's not big compared to you and I, but he's, you know, he's a nice sized fellow.
What's his and-I stuff? It's like working with a troll every day. 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, you're right with Toma.
Line drive, built to left field. Did he get enough? High off the wall. way to second. Man, that ball came off his bat like a cannon shot. Second Cub hit. And 34 Alou doubles.
That wasn't a sinking line drive. It had gone out of the ballpark. Unfortunately, he got over the top of it, and it stayed in. Moises hit that ball as hard as you can hit it. He winds up at second base. Good way to start the second inning, as the Cubs, who trail by a run, have the tying run in scoring position for Ramirez, who has a shot and most likely will drive in 100 this year.
So an RBI chance for Aramis Ramirez, who did that yesterday. 2 hits and 4 tries.
And Chip, you have to love the way this guy has come on defensively. He's hit the ball out of the park. He's had some real good at-bats where he's inside-outed good inside fastballs. I think he's going to be a pretty good player. He's only 25 years old.
Well, credit Bill Madlock, former Cub third baseman. In our chat after he sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," he said, look, when this kid starts to hit, you're going to see his glove pick it up a notch or two, and he's been everything the Cubs were hoping he'd be defensively, and a whole lot more, because he really did have a shaky glove when he came over from the Pirates. Since then, Ramirez has caught everything. He's made terrific throws. He's made good decisions, and at the plate, he's been a big-time power threat from the right side.
I'd give him the 3-0 green light here. You got a pitcher on the mound who cuts a lot of fastballs inside. You might as well give him the green light and let him go. But the green light doesn't mean you have to swing. It means he gets something in the zone. Swing it.
3-0. Green lighted. Bouncing ball left field for a hit. Alou played it safely and wisely so. First and third now with nobody out. Ramirez bounces a solid single through.
That shows a hitter that your manager has confidence in your ability to be selective. He gives him the 3-0 green light. He gets a pitch middle in. He got it down. He hit it through the left side. And now Don Gullett coming out to the mound to talk with Bale as the Cubs try to knock him out of this one.
Don Gullett, one of the most respected vitamin fix-em pitching coaches in all of Major League Baseball.
Chip, you have to be if you're going to be in a smaller market, a lower revenue, and Cincinnati is a rabid baseball town. I don't mean to intimate anything else, but you're going to have a lot of reclamation projects. You're going to get guys from other places who haven't had success. You're going to have to take a chance on them. And the Reds have had to do that, and they've had a lot of success because Don Gullett truly is one of the best pitching coaches around.
So, bright, sunshiny day as Eric Karros stands in for the first time. Eric came on as a pinch hitter last night and did not reach, but a chance to tie the game or put the Cubs in front here. It's 1-0 Reds. First and third with nobody out in the home half of the second. Home runs, 33 driven in for Eric Karros.
Well, you got to figure he's going to throw something down because he wants the double play. They'll trade the run for the double play to stay out of the big inning. So if Karros looks for something down, probably away, he can drive the ball, and he talking with Chris Guccione about the location of that last one.
One pitch to Karros. Now it's 1-2. Didn't miss by much, but Eric took it to even up the count at 2-2.
Miller wants it inside. That's where Bale gets it. Fortunately, too far inside.
Line drive over third. We're tied. Alou scores. scores. Ramirez on his way to third. Wendell Kim's going to wave his man around. Branyan fell down in the corner. A two-run scoring double, and the Cubs have the lead. The only question is one RBI or two.
We'll take a look and see what happened in the corner and let you know. Wendell Kim with a heads-up play at third. He's taking a look at Russell Branyan. Now Branyan slides into the corner. The players have adopted that slide, and when he loses the glove, he's got to go get it. I'm thinking he gets two RBIs. That looks like a double all the way, and we'll wait and see what Bob Rosenberg decides when he flips the coin.
Whichever way Bob guesses, irrelevant in that the Cubs have the lead. It's 2-1 for Alex Gonzalez, the shortstop. 3 straight hits in this second inning of play for the Cubs.
Karros has driven in 35, and the Cubs have the lead. And one of the things, Chip, that jumps right out at you, there's not enough variance in speed for Bale as a starting pitcher. And that's why we think maybe down the road he'd be better served to be a reliever. Right now the Cubs are taking advantage of a lot of pitches, very hittable inner portion of the plate, which is where he cuts his fastball.
That one ripped into right center field. That's going to drop. That's going to score Karros. Alex on his way to second. 4 straight hits. 3 runs are in.
Cubs have come out with a little blood in their eye today. This ball driven into right center field. Another fastball. Another base hit. 3 doubles and a single. The Cubs lead by 2.
Here's Damian Miller. A single and 3 doubles here in the second inning. And Miller a chance. Still nobody out. And Bale did not get that call. He's thinking, look, I'm not getting the inside corner. Now I can't get the outside corner. And the Cubs happy to have him struggling.
That was the inside corner of Damian's knee.
He's not going to get that call either.
Right now, you think about normally guiding the ball to the right side, but you're at the bottom part of the order. You just go and have to hit it hard somewhere.
Two balls, 1 strike.
Damian does have an inside-out swing, which yields a lot of line drives into right center field. But Bale continues to cut that fastball into it.
Real good hitters count again for Damian Miller.
Damian.
Full count now. And 3-2. Here comes the payoff to the Cub catcher. Popped him up. Into shallow left. Branyan shielding his eyes. Makes the two-handed grab for the first out. Juan Cruz will bat. Juan Cruz, a 125 hitter, looking for his first run batted in this year.
Well, he hasn't had too much of an opportunity to swing the bat, just 8 at bats. He's taking a look down at Wendell Kim. You wouldn't think he'd be bunting here. I think Cruz is a pretty good athlete. I'd like to see him swing the bat.
are looking at a Cub team that has come together and is playing, frankly, its best baseball of the year right now. That's what you want. Shelling September if you've got a shot. The Cubs trying to go 10-3 this month with a win today.
Let's take a look at the season numbers and what's happened recently. Look at the runs per game. Up close to 6.
Who swings through that? He's down 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, with this Cubs pitching staff, they're a whopping 40 games over 500 when they score 4. At 60-20. Talk about a bellwether statistic. That's it.
If you can count on winning 75% of your games, if you get 4 runs or more, the offense doesn't have to do a whole lot of work. Now you're going to get some letdowns, obviously, but this team is pitching rich.
And Cruz down on strikes. Hale gets Miller and Juan. Now it's up to Glanville to keep the frame alive. 3-1. Cubs have the lead at this point. Glanville rolled out to third. There's what Hummel's playing.
There's one of the heroes of yesterday, Tom Goodwin. Pinch at bat with the bases loaded yielded the tying and the eventual winning run.
Three-run second on 4 hits for the Cubs. It doubled Hale into a 2-run deficit.
Young Eric, our assistant in the booth, was kind enough to bring me some warm water and lemon. All this excitement, and I'm running out of voice, which a lot of people would be very happy about. You probably leading the chart.
No, absolutely not. Ground ball, diving play, Hummel, good play. Did he get his man? No, it skips away from Casey, and another run will score.
Got a chance to go as a hit and an error. We'll take a look at it and see what Bob Rosenberg scores it. Good diving play by Hummel. The throw not so good. We talked about balls down the line with the left-hander who cuts the fastball in. The throw doesn't get there, and Casey doesn't make the play. And it is a single, and I think an E5. And hey, Bob Rosenberg got one right. I applaud Rosie. Got to give him credit.
No, you don't.
Oh, sure you do. Are you kidding?
That's error 129 for Cincinnati this year. That's far and away the most. That's another area where their pitching staff hasn't been helped with all the leaky defense.
No, but Chip, you have to say one thing. Rosie, like Willie Mo Pena, very close to the same percentage. Both 212 hitters.
I don't know if I'd give Rosie that much credit. Grudzielanek with a hit his first time up. And we're only kidding Rosie. He jokes about it all the time about the ceremonial coin flip on the close calls that he makes as the official scorer. But by and large, he and Don Frisky, the rest of the official scorers here at Wrigley, have done a very nice job this year.
Well, it's a tough job.
1-1 your count.
You have a lot of guys who obviously are paid dependent on the amount of hits or defensive plays, and pitchers with earned runs. I mean, it's a real difficult job. They can't make their decision based on anything more than what they observe and their judgment as longtime baseball people. And Rosie's one of the best. He's one of the best right now scoring in this booth.
Despite those quadrifocal glasses, a high fly ball by Grudzielanek to left. Ranyan drifts back, and he'll haul it in. The Cubs a very profitable second inning. They score 4 on 5 hits. 1 red error helped the cause, and after 2, it's a 4-1 Cub lead.
An anniversary is something you never want to miss, especially this year. Announcing the Lincoln Mercury Anniversary Clearance, featuring great end-of-the-model year savings on every Lincoln and Mercury, including Lincoln Navigator, the new Lincoln Aviator, the new Lincoln LS, And the best Lincoln Town Car ever, with 0% APR for 60 months or up to $6,500 cash back, plus your dealer's best model year-end price. See your local Lincoln Mercury dealer.
If only all businesses were like Walgreens Pharmacy, then they'd give you automatic refills too. Because Walgreens can automatically refill your prescription before it runs out. And they call or email you when it's ready. So it's easier to keep track of all your prescriptions. Fortunately, there's at least one place that's designed around your needs. Walgreens. Why go anywhere else?
No two are the same. Their lives are as different as concrete and consulting, medicine and manufacturing. Here's to the small business owners, separated by the differences in where each is going, bound by the confidence they'll get there. Seeing small business differently. SBC.
It was fast. We made it faster. It was smart. We made it smarter. Until it was as close to perfect as it's ever come. And that's saying something. Introducing the new, more powerful ES330. At your Chicago area Lexus dealer.
Here we go to the top of our third inning of play. Ray Olmedo leads things off. Juan Cruz, the beneficiary of a 4-run second inning, leads it by a 4-1 score. And that's popped up. Shallow left center field. Now the ball pushed back by the wind. Glanville hauls it in. And Hummel will hit for the second time.
Just like to see Juan throw strikes. He's got a lead. The Cubs figure to get a few more. Want to stay ahead of these Cincinnati hitters and force them to swing the bat. The leadoff walk last inning produced a run, but no other harm. And I think the Cub offense right now in pretty high gear. They're also facing a patchwork starting rotation, not the fault of the Reds. They've had a lot of injuries.
Hummel flied to right his first time up. He takes a strike. One of the unanswered questions for the Reds is what will be the fate of Barry Larkin? This is the last year of a very big contract extension signed by the Cincinnati captain and borderline Hall of Fame player. He says, Steve, he'd like to come back and play next year for the Reds. John Allen, so far, though, has not made a determination as to whether or not Larkin will come back, and certainly there hasn't been a talk or any talking at all about what price it would cost Cincinnati.
Yeah, the price at this point is irrelevant, but I think that he wants to get a general manager first, and then they can talk it over.
Lined over third by Hummel. That's a fair ball into the corner. And Hummel on his way to second base with his fourth two-base hit of the year.
And that young man has shown us enough over the last couple of days to think he's going to probably stay around the major leagues. It's a slider that doesn't slide very much, winds up in the corner. And Chip, for John Allen, his priorities are, number one, you get a general manager, and then he's going to allow the general manager to make a determination on the manager. Dave Miley's done a nice job, and it could be that Dave Miley's the guy. But around baseball, first the president will make his decision on the GM, and then the GM will probably make a managerial decision because he's going to be working with that guy hand in glove the rest of the way. John Allen, a very good executive, and they think very highly of him in Cincinnati, and he knows that he's got a tough job. This is a difficult decision because the Cincinnati job is an excellent job, and he's going to interview a number of candidates. We've heard a lot of different names, but to speculate at this point, again, not relevant. What is relevant is whoever takes over that team, number one, gets a great, proud organization, a city that's been supporting them for many, many years.
Beautiful new ballpark.
And a beautiful new facility. So they've got a lot of things going for them. And they've got some good young players.
That's down the left field line. But it is going to take a steady hand at the GM's helm. It is going to take a steady hand in that managerial seat. In the regard of it depends on what direction the Reds take. If Ken Griffey Jr. can come back at 100%. Can Dunn come back? Can Kearns come back? They're the younger players on this Cincinnati Ball Club. Brandon Larson, can he make the move from AAA to the major leagues and be an everyday performer for them? There are some pieces in place for the Reds offensively to really be a terrific club, and we saw flashes of that this year when they were healthy. Can they find, number one, enough pitching, and number two, enough money to pay for that pitching?
Well, the biggest question is, can they find enough money to bring Marty Brennaman back?
Well,
and we'll know the answer to that because we're going to have him as a conductor of Take Me Out to the Ball Game today.
That's right down the middle. And Jimenez takes strike 3. There's your second out. Do you think Marty would like to be the general manager for John Allen's team?
No, Marty said he couldn't stand the cut and pay. And John Allen said, I don't think he could take Marty Brennaman on a daily basis in his office. So I think it would be a mutual situation for them, but good fastball, shaves off the inner portion. That ball had the whole plate. And I think he just surprised Jimenez, who had a good at bat the first inning, but was outguessed this time.
Here's Casey, popped up to Grudzielanek. That ended the Reds' half of the first. It is great to see Marty Brennaman, Hall of Fame voice of the Reds. His partner Joe Nuxall on Reds radio. I believe this is Joe's final season behind the microphone as Marty's partner. They've been a terrific tandem for 30+ years.
And there's a look at Joe in the major leagues as a pitcher at 15 years old. That's somewhat astounding.
0-2 to Casey. Of course, their television counterparts, George Grant, Chris Welsh, Reds broadcast crew. Taking in Wrigley Field for one final weekend here in 2003 are the Reds. And the Cubs hope to make it a most unhappy stay. They're off to a good start. A win yesterday and a 4-1 lead today. It's high and tight. The count to Casey. 1-2.
Casey out of the Cleveland organization. An organization that has supplied the major leagues with hitters. Some of them still in Cleveland, most of them other places.
One ball, 2 strikes to Casey. The Reds team hits leader with 152 of them. Almost standing out at second base with 2 outs. And Casey, a little flare behind third. Nobody can get that. And the Reds tally their second run. A blue pit for Casey. Give him 71 runs batted in, and the Reds are within 2.
Sean Casey's always had luck against Cruz because he's got quick enough hands to stay back on changeups. This one looped into left field, and not much Moises can do about it.
So Branyan stands in. He walked and scored the first Reds run. That was back in the second. Big swing and a miss. First final in today. The Yankees held off Lou Pinella's Tampa Bay Devil Rays 6-5 the final score at the Bronx. White Sox are at Boston later on tonight. Detroit hosts Kansas City.
And the Yankees, winners of 7 in a row, are trying to put a little daylight between themselves and Boston. I don't believe Boston will catch them. Boston's very much alive in the wild card race. In fact, leading it at this point. And the Red Sox have strung together 3 wins in a row. So the teams in the East starting to heat it up.
That was one of the more interesting subplots of the trade deadline. The moves and counter-moves by the Red Sox. And
that was great. Brian Cashman, Theo Epstein. One would make a move, another one would announce a move, and so on.
No balls and a strike. 0-2.
Branyan's not going to hit a ball above the waist. He's got an uppercut swing. You throw the ball right around the Cincinnati, and you'll throw it right by him.
Think of him as Jim Edmonds?
Well, similar, I think. Not as quite an accomplished a hitter as Jim Edmonds, nor as accomplished a run producer. Same kind of power. But throw the high fastball, and you got him. He's going to throw the slider. Let's hope he gets it.
2 strikes. And that's off the plate for a count of 1-2.
I don't think on a guy that can't catch up with a high fastball, you want to throw him too many breaking pitches. Outfield straightaway very deep, respecting another Cleveland product and another guy with outstanding power.
Boy, did they develop him by the bushel under John Hart in Cleveland. Manny Ramirez, Richie Sexton, Jim Thome. On and on and on you go. Brian Giles. Kenny Lofton was an Indian.
Kenny Lofton originally started with Houston, but Branyan started with the Indians. And there's a bunch of them.
Downstairs, 3-2.
That was a surprise pitch, and that's the one you wanted to get him on. Drifts low and out of the zone, and Juan Cruz wanted that one. Now he's got to make a big pitch, 3-2. You want to end this inning before Mateo. He's had good at-bats against Cruz.
Casey off and moving with the pitch, and Branyan whips. 3rd strikeout for Cruz. 1 run, 2 hits. Middle of the 3rd inning comes with a 2-run lead at 4-2.
Hey, Bobby. Well, I would rent a car for 2 weeks. Yeah.
Why not get right to the good part? Like Southwest Airlines Rapid Rewards. Forget counting miles. Fly just 4 round trips and get 1 free by receiving double credit when you book at southwest.com.
You're now free to move about the country.
Ron Santo. All Chicagoans admire him for his brilliant career at third base and as today's broadcast voice of the Cubs. No wonder he always draws a crowd.
Can I have your autograph?
What other reason could there be?
They like my Chevy.
Now during model year end, get $4,000 cash back or 0% APR for 60 months on every 2003 Chevy Trailblazer.
Mr. Santo, can I drive your Chevy?
No.
See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers today.
This portion of Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Chevy. See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers today. The 4,000 CarQuest auto parts stores across America. You'll find it at CarQuest. And by Honda. See your Honda dealer to learn more about the great value Honda has to offer.
A 240 horsepower engine, European styling, and the power to stir up emotions. The Accord from Honda.
Sammy Sosa to work in the 3rd inning. Let's see if the Cubs can get that top of the 3rd inning run back here. It's a 4-2 lead. Sosa grounded into a double play his first time up. Milwaukee beating the Giants 4-0 today. That's out in San Francisco. Atlanta's in Florida just a bit later on. The Miracle Marlins.
That's a good name for them because, Chip, it's been just astounding. Losing their leader, Mike Lowell. They just keep winning baseball games. They've won 6 in a row. They're trying to take care of Atlanta, a pretty good team. And they're also trying to take control of a wild card race. A tough thing to do.
If I'm not mistaken, and I don't have the book in front of me, but I think the Marlins have guaranteed themselves just their 2nd over 500 record in the history of the franchise.
Well,
97.
I was going to say, they were world champions as a wild card, and they've won 82 already.
That is remarkable, and it's really going to be interesting, I think, for the Manager of the Year voting in the National League, because there are so many great stories amongst whom to choose.
Well, there's one difference with Jack McKeon. We got there a little bit later.
1-2 the count to Sosa, and that's rolled foul. I mean, Jeff Torborg was the manager. They were looking like the Marlins were going to be a lost cause again. He's got them on the cusp of a playoff berth, but Felipe Alou, his first year with the Giants, they've got an 11.5 game lead. You've got Jimmy Williams in first. Dusty Baker bringing the Cubs back from a 67 win year last year. As Sammy hits a roller toward third. Hummel up and across, got his man by a quarter step. And then you've got Bobby Cox, who's going to win his 12th consecutive division title with the Atlanta Braves and might end up with the best record in the National League.
Let's take a look at this play. You'll see the ball getting there with Sammy hustling down the line, and Steve Ripley saying you got him by just an eyelash. And from that angle, it looks like he was out by a half step. Well, Chip, for those people who were with us yesterday in the rain delay, we broke down our estimation. I felt it would be Bobby Cox this year, but it doesn't diminish the job of the guys we mentioned. They've all done a great job. I just think a guy who wins 12 straight division titles with a completely different configuration of their baseball team this year deserves the manager of the year consideration and probably the award.
That ball rolled at the bag at third. Good play by Hummel, and Alou stopped before he got to the first base bag as he was ducking under the baseball. That was an odd looking play. Two outs in the third inning.
I think Moises saw Sean Casey shift and thought about getting an ear burger. Well, actually, what happened was he thought it was foul when he stopped running, and then he stopped running entirely. So I think the best thing is to let Jerry Meals be the umpire. You be the base runner.
Alou not happy with that effort. 2 outs, bases clear for Ramirez, who looks at the ball outside. Big pitching matchup in Houston tonight. Matt Morris for St. Louis, Roy Oswalt for the Astros. The Cardinals were poleaxed last night.
The Cubs are hoping for a better result than early domination by the Astros, when Wade Miller was a pretty good pitcher and the offense was in high gear.
And Miller was a pretty good hitter. He had 4 runs batted in last night in a winning cause for Houston. They won it 14-5. And that Astro offense came to life on their road trip. They played very good baseball away from home. Now in their first 3 against St. Louis, with 3 more to go at Busch Stadium at the conclusion of the series. The Cubs are hoping they can be cooled off tonight. 3 up, 3 down in the third inning. Nice recovery for Bale. We've completed 3 in Chicago with the Cubs in front by a 4-2 score.
Dear Commissioner, Major League Baseball is great, but what if we let one lucky fan play catcher for the day?
Guest catcher for today, Jason Weinstein. Says here he's played a little T-ball. Doesn't look like he's grown much either. And that ball is driven deep. Burke rounds third. There's going to be a play at the plate. Ooh, just off the glove. Oh! Well, this will be a day he'll remember. No, he won't.
It's clearance time on a huge selection of Toyota trucks. Get to Toyota's 2003 clearance for great deals on the iForce V8 Tundra. Take your choice of $2,000 customer cash or 1.9% financing for 60 months on Tundra. And check out the great deals on the 03 Tacomas. Toyota time. The time is now. See your local Toyota dealer today.
Dave.
Brian. Are these your consultants?
They're providing an ongoing assessment.
We're on a standardized Dell Linux solution. PowerEdge servers, Intel Xeon processors.
What about assessment? Validation? Deployment?
Dell's services are proven and scalable end-to-end. They're customer-centric.
We're more contractually inseparable.
Manage your enterprise for less with the flexibility of Dell products and services. Call or go online today.
Hey, Cubs fans. Looking for a new way to get to Wrigley Field? Try riding your bike. There are several bike racks surrounding the ballpark, or drop off your bike worry-free at our Bike Check service. Located on the corner of Clark and Waveland, your bike will be attended to in our private lot at no charge. If you can't ride a bike, remember, public transportation is the best way to get to Wrigley Field. For more information, visit www.cubs.com.
Cubs fans from across the globe at Wrigley Field today, and they've enjoyed the start so far. One pitch and a line out by Mateo. That ball was scorched. There's your first out of the 4th inning before William Opeña bats. Let's quickly pause for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN-TV, Chicago's WB.
Well, that sign is in honor of that man, Win Griffiths, a loyal servant of the crown, and Bob Vorwald, our executive producer. With Steve Stone, Chip Carey back at the ballpark. 4-2. Cubs have the lead. They're here from England. They're here from the Florida Keys. John and Rich Robbins. I want to say hi to the gang watching us on WGN at the Cracked Conch Cafe. Been there many a time. What a place. Fly ball center field. Glanville coming on. And he makes the catch. And Stoney 2 outs on 3 pitches for Cruz.
And a pretty good play by Doug Glanville. He knew that ball wasn't hit all that hard. He got a great break. He came straight in. And the key to a long and successful performance is to have easy at-bats. If you're always running 6, 7, 8 pitch at-bats, you run out of gas. So this inning for Juan Cruz real important, and he'd like to end it with Corky Miller without a whole lot of histrionics. 2 or 3 pitches or less.
Miller a sac fly and an RBI. They're here from Birmingham, Alabama. Gil Simmons, David Pruitt. Big group from the Crosley Sports Bar in St. Bernard, Ohio.
That's a great city. They'll come to your rescue any chance they get.
Line over third and into left field. Miller has a single, and he is aboard with 2 outs for Bale.
I think he should go with hard stuff to Bale, keep it away. Last time I know he got him on a slider, but I don't think he can get around on the good Cruz heat.
Now, what about those dogs? Are those rescue dogs or
I hope so. There's a special place in heaven for people who rescue dogs. And those guys look like they're having a wonderful afternoon. I mean, obviously their favorite drink is within feet of them.
I mean, that must be puppy paradise. A drinking fountain and a fire hydrant all within walking distance. I mean, how good can it get?
Well, and a swimming pool and a number of other things. That looks like a Rottweiler.
Fireman.
And I would think you wave to them. Yes. Nice boys.
Firemen to chase, right? I mean, fans walking across the street.
It's just great. Those are amiable looking guys, and I know that Sox Johnson, Otto Johnson, Larry Stone looking on, as is Max in Naples, Florida. The aforementioned 3 looking on in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Swing and a miss by John Bale. 2 balls and a strike. The Zakis family here, Palm Harbor, Florida. The Gorneys from Maryland and New Jersey are here.
And Jim Henry had some friends from Louisiana up to root home the Cubs today.
A little flare down the left field line. Alou's going to play that on a hop. So the Reds making it real interesting here with 2 outs. 2 singles by Miller and Bale. And you've got to go to the top of the order now.
They'll take another look at it. This one on the inner portion, and Bale, you see, able to inside out it. What's inside out? You take an inside pitch. You drag your hands, but hit it the opposite way in which it looks like you're going to. And looping it into left field keeps the inning alive. So now Damian Miller out to talk with Cruz. Also wants to talk with Eric Karros. He wants to know how he's going to pitch to Almeida. Reason is he wants to know how close he has to get to that line at first base. You don't want him to hit the ball down the line and possibly score 2, especially with Sosa around toward right center.
Off the plate to Almeida, who's grounded to short and flied out to center. Mark Newman from Ipswich, England here today with his wife Susan. They're enjoying beautiful Wrigley Field today. Another line drive into right field this time. That'll drop for a hit. They're going to wave Miller. Sosa's throw is unable to be cut off. And the Cincinnati Reds, pesky bunch that they are, have 3 straight hits here in the 4th inning, and they pulled to within a run. It's a 4-3 game.
Rainier Olmedo out of Venezuela. They got the recommendation from Davey Concepcion, a big part of the Big Red Machine. And Olmedo is a guy with a whole lot of promise. So when you look ahead at the future for him, you have to think that he is their shortstop of the future. Now, when that is, I don't know. He's still a very young man. He's got some great skills. And right now, he just drove home the 3rd run. So the Reds pull within a run. And Chip, when you call them pesky, that's exactly what they've been. They won't allow the Cubs to pull away from them. They overcame a 5-0 deficit yesterday before the Cubs won that one. The Cubs took a 4-1 lead today, and they've come back with 3 singletons so far in the 2nd, 3rd, and now the 4th.
It's death by 1,000 cuts when you play these guys. So here's Hummel. He stung the ball twice, and he hits it hard again. This time is short. Alex with a long looping throw gets his man, and that will retire the side. A run on 3 hits, 2 left, and the Reds have made a game of it. It's now 4-3 Cubs.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced nor retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
In one day, Drew Carey, Holly Robinson, Jamie Kennedy, and Mr. Moneybags could say goodbye to $1 billion. Pepsi's Play for $1 billion.
Sunday night at 7 on WGN.
On the WB Monday, there are moments that reshape a family.
Carlos and I...
You're engaged?
We're...
For the Camdens, that moment is now.
I'm responsible for killing someone.
The season premiere of Seventh Heaven.
Monday night at 7 on WGN, Chicago's WB.
Our new Ford Taurus is just an unbelievable value.
We've been looking at one with a power moonroof at no extra charge.
Taurus did earn the government's highest safety rating.
It's roomier than the others we looked at.
We chose the 0% financing for 6 years.
We chose the $4,000 cash back.
It's thousands less than a Accord or Camry, and it's got the power of a V6 engine. In fact, we're getting that one right there.
Oh, no, that's our car.
We saw it
first. No, that's ours.
No, we saw it first.
No, that's ours.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. These folks did.
Dude, isn't that your mom?
Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. Special greetings to Marissa Rudman, Marty Wilkie, and the rest of our WGN TV sponsors here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Couldn't do it without those fine folks. We appreciate their help in bringing Cubs baseball to you across the fruited plain. And we got a good ball game today in the middle game of the weekend set. It's now a 4-3 Cub advantage with Karros, Gonzalez, and Damian Miller coming up.
A young man by the name of Brian Sands came and delivered some old newspaper clippings from Sandlot days. Back with a team called Lesius Hiles, a team that I played with. In NABF, we were champions. And although I didn't have a whole lot to do with it, it was a very good team.
Eric Karros sends a bolt to left. Branyan drifting back, makes the catch at the track. And Bale is right at the ship, Stoney. He's set down 5 in a row after that bloody second inning.
I think one of the ways he'll have problems, and if I'm Alex Gonzalez in this at bat, he doubled to right center. And Willie Mays was the first guy that told me this. He said, if I hit a home run on a curveball away, the first pitch I look for a fastball in. So let's see if he gets something inner portion. He did, but unfortunately for him, he didn't make contact. Bale will remember the line drive he hit to right center, however, and this is a good chance to pull it for Gonzalez, who is a pull hitter by nature.
How about that bounce? It hit Guccione, the umpire, right in the face mask. That'll make the ump happy.
Well, he'd like to suggest to Corky that he get a glove on. Watch it again. Bounces well in front of the plate. Thanks a lot, Corky.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Back in my Cleveland days, an umpire was having a particularly tough day, and I had a catcher that I really enjoyed. I'll tell you a good story. He kept letting pitches go by, and they would hit the umpire when he'd make a bad call. He just wouldn't get a glove on it.
Oh, that I'm sure made him real happy.
Oh, he was happy, and then he made a good comment. He said, "Son, you can't intimidate me. I'm a war veteran." And he said, "You ump like it," and he threw him out of the game. So sometimes if you're behind the plate, it's best to not say a whole lot to the man behind you. He has his fate in your hands.
2-2 pitch. And that's high. 3 balls, 2 strikes. A couple days ago, the organist at Lakeland Ballpark, the Detroit Tigers, no, the Phillies home ballpark, Clearwater, passed away. He was legendary for during a spring training game. One of the umpires missed a call, and the organist regaled the crowd with 3 blind mice.
That's good.
And he got thrown out of the game. So it's a tough enough job for the men in blue without the help of smart alecky players or ballpark entertainers. 1 on with 1 out for Damian Miller. So far, the Reds' Miller has won the offensive battle in this game. Corky with a single, a run scored, and a sacrifice fly. Damian just 1 at bat, flied out to left. Runners going. First pitch and the throw nowhere near.
And that was a heads-up play, and that was not.
He came off the bag.
Well, he thought the ball was in center field, so a good decoy by Jimenez. And when Alex, who had successfully stolen second, decided to take a false step, D'Angelo Jimenez put the tag on him. Now watch it here. Alex thinks the ball's in center field. Well, it isn't. Nice talking to you.
And you're right, Jimenez sprinting by a step towards center field. Won the race back to the bag, and there's your second out.
Well, it's actually a great play by Jimenez. On the other side of the coin, it won't make the Gonzalez highlight reel. I think it goes stolen base and then 4 unassisted.
That is the call.
Bob Rosenberg is hot today. Wow.
And Miller down on strikes. What looked promising with 1 out ends in frustration in the 4th. And fans in Chicago a bit nervous now. It's a 4-3 Cub lead heading to the 5th.
Dear Commissioner, Major League Baseball is great, but you know what would make it even more exciting? Instead of a warning track, how about a warning moat?
Here's a windup. Whoa! He smacks a deep fly to center. Hayes is back to the moat.
He's wet.
Yeah, but did he hold on?
Well, that's the question.
He did.
Gator got him.
That's good fun. The fans love it.
September is your last chance. Time for one last cookout, one last road trip, and in September, one last chance to grab a great selection of 2003 Dodges in stock with our best deals, like cash allowances of up to $4,500 or 0% APR financing for 60 months on select models. Plus, get Dodge's fully transferable 7-year or 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Great products, great protection, great deals. See your local Dodge dealer for the best values in America.
Can I get another chicken?
Like dial-up? Imagine if everything just suddenly quit.
Right. That's it. I quit.
Unlike dial-up, Comcast high-speed internet doesn't just quit, because it's always on. Best of all, it's now available at a dial-up price.
Voila. Bon appetit.
Waiter?
Imagine you could make any car you wanted. It'd have to be dependable, have a roomy, comfortable interior, and it would be worry-free for a long, long time. And it would be bulletproof, have like a jet engine and shoot lasers out of the trunk. Well, it would at least cost a lot less than any car in America. What you'd be imagining is the Kia Rio, the most affordable four-door sedan in America. Imagine that.
Visit your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Kia retailers. Hurry, offer ends soon.
5th inning, one-run game. Cruz will go through the 3, 4, 5 spots in this pesky Cincinnati batting order. D'Angelo Jimenez, Sean Casey, and Russell Branyan, each of whom has been on base once today.
And I would think this would be a tough inning, and if Juan can get through this, he should be in pretty good shape. Jimenez has had one good at-bat out of 2. Casey's had one very good at-bat. And Branyan's always a threat. But if you keep falling behind, you're going to have some problems. Over the last couple of days, we've seen D'Angelo Jimenez look like a pretty good ball player.
Lined over first, and Eric Karros helping make the call over there, and it was Steve Ripley's call, and he made the proper one. 2 balls and a strike to Jimenez, who
I think he cracked his bat.
Yes.
Eric Karros, a little umpiring. Absolutely foul. Nice call, Eric, and nice call, Steve Ripley.
I think he has a future in umpiring.
Oh, I think if you take a look at his last few contracts, the umpires fall right into line with that. He'll be very happy.
2 balls and a strike. Well, if you like a good argument, hey, it's a great lifestyle, right?
Well, those guys, by and large, do a terrific job. I know that everybody complains about the umpiring, but just remember, every call makes somebody happy.
High fly ball hit deep to right. That's toward the well. Sammy turns and waves goodbye. Tie game. The Reds have done it again.
Well, we told you this was going to be a very difficult inning, and D'Angelo Jimenez has been a very tough hitter. Cruz fell behind 3-1. Best pitch to hit in the game. Jimenez hitting his 7th home run, his 6th from the left side. And with the wind blowing straight out and nothing really to hold up the baseball, just like that, the Cubs will have to start again. Jimenez getting a pitch on the inner portion and driving it out of the park.
So it's a 4-4 game now in the 5th inning. See the Wrigley Field scoreboard flags blowing straight out. Here's Casey. He looks at a strike. Sean with an RBI single, his last time up. Great to see the coach, Ron Santo, in fine form today.
Understand his bride is here and that she's got a very special occasion. What, her 30th birthday?
Vicky Santo says it's her 29th birthday today.
Well, it's unusual. I mean, Vicky, a wonderful woman, certainly, and we know the coach is a great guy. But when you're 75 with a youthful bride like that, sometimes it can create some mismatches. In the case of Ronnie, that's just about everything.
His clothes, everything else. Yeah, I understand. 1-1 you count. That's over for a strike. And there's the lovely Vicky.
Here's a look at the happy couple. Marty Brenneman, always the tactful guy, went up to Ronnie the other day and said, "You look like a flood victim." But Ronnie in sartorial splendor today, wondering what we're saying about him. Nothing but good things, Ronnie, I can assure you.
Only because it's Saturday. Wait till tomorrow. Out of the play by Casey. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I saw Vicky before the game and I said, "Are you ready for him to get out of town?" She said, "Please."
Take him now. Well, he missed the last trip, you know, which at the end of the day
might be,
as far as postseason hardware, might be very costly to him. That plastic facsimile ring, if the Cubs are fortunate enough to be able to attain it, will be Ron's fate. Count evens at 2 as Sean Casey, who's always a tough out, but you would think especially tough against Cruz because he's one of those guys that never goes out on the front foot. He's not a dead power hitter, so he usually doesn't overswing. That makes for a tough afternoon. And with that in mind, Casey, who was hitting .375 against Cruz lifetime, has added to that with his 1 for 2.
Tapped over the mound. Alex charges. Casey doesn't run well, and that saves him. There is your first out.
Real good play by Alex, who's shown himself to be one of the most dependable as far as shortstops are concerned. If he gets to it, you can pretty much chalk up that you're going to be out. Very rarely will make bad throws. On this infield, which is slow, he has real good range. But all you want a guy to do at crunch time, and Alex does exactly that, is catch it and throw it on the mark. And he will be in line for Gold Glove consideration. I think he's made just 10 errors all year long.
I can't remember the last one he made. That tells you how good he's been.
It's especially important with the Cubs, who play a lot of close games. They've dominated one-run games. That's where championships are won or lost, if that's your fate.
Breaking ball to Branyan's off the plate. 2 balls and a strike. 4-4 our score. The Reds with single runs in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and here in the 5th. The Cubs got all 4 of their runs in the 2nd inning and had a 4-1 lead. 2-2.
Well, the Reds, as far as the Cubs are concerned, have been anything but a pushover. Cubs lead the season series 7-5, but the Reds have played him tough all year long.
I wonder what Ronnie got Vicky for the 29th birthday.
Well, I think Vicky takes the same philosophy as most long-time brides. As long as you can drive it, she'll be happy.
Wait a minute, this is the guy that gets his cars free.
Like I said, as long as she can drive it, she'll be happy.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Word out of the radio booth is that Ronnie's gift is something that Vicky can wear. That's a beautiful shirt. Way to go, Ronnie. Pop up to the left side. Gonzalez drifts out, and he will call off Alou. And there's the 2nd out.
This is going to be a tough at bat. Ruben Mateo's been up twice, and twice he's hit line drives. Alex taking charge. He's calling for it, and he makes the play. You see him hold out his hand. That tells Moises Alou that it's all under control.
Now Mateo bats with bags clear. Blazing strike over the inside corner. Mateo singled in the 2nd, lined out in the 4th. He has not homered since the 21st of July.
Man, I was hoping you wouldn't say that for the simple reason the wind is blowing very, very strong.
Why I brought it up. This fly ball is going to make it interesting here. Sharply hit. Ramirez perfectly positioned, and a very accurate throw. An in-off homer by Jimenez ties our game. We're in the middle of the 5th. Luck Independent Fever, Chicago. It's 4-4.
Free to move about the country.
This is breaking news from Action Center News.
Delicious, freshly baked bagels from Dunkin' Donuts. Just the thing you can't resist. Come into Dunkin' Donuts today to get our bagel with cream cheese and medium coffee combo for only $1.99. Just the thing to start your day.
It's the winning season for the Hyundai Santa Fe. One of the fastest growing SUVs in its class. Protected by America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. $1,300 less than a Ford Escape when comparably equipped. And now get an extra $1,000 cash back. The Hyundai Santa Fe starting at just $17,634 after $1,000 cash back. You're the winner at the Hyundai Winning Season Clearance. going on now at your Hyundai dealer.
This portion of Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Hyundai. When your car comes home with America's best warranty, you win. Hyundai. Walgreens, pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. And by Acura. Experience the performance today at your local Acura dealer.
Since the All-Star break, the Cubs are 9 games over 500. That's our Illinois Lottery fun fact. They're averaging a little over 4 runs per game. And the good news is the Cubs 40 over 500 this year when they get 4 in a ball game. Juan Cruz leads things off with a line drive into right center field. Mateo can't cut it off. Cruz has pretty good speed. He's at second. Ball dropped for a moment. Relay throw to third, and the head first slide safe for Cruz. And I got to tell you, Stoney, I'm not sure, but it looked like he stumbled around the second base bag. Did he touch the corner is the question. We'll see if they appeal.
Well, we'll see if anybody was watching the bag at second base. And it looks to me like D'Angelo Jimenez thinks he missed second base. And he's going to go into a stretch. Larry Vanover, who went out, is probably going to make this call. We'll see on the appeal, because we are going to see an appeal.
Step off. He apparently touched. I mean, if he got it, Stoney, it was with the tip of his shoe.
Well, there's no doubt, Chip, that he got it. And he got the front of the bag because, as you know, and as long as I've known Larry Vanover, he's never missed an appeal play at second base. And that was one of those slides which said, I've run out of gas. I hope the bag appears quickly.
Please. Here's Glanville, infield in for the Reds, and he takes the ball.
But I will say that Juan Cruz has done something that very few pitchers can say, and that is he hit a triple. In fact, the entire Cub pitching staff this year has just experienced their first triple.
A fly ball would give the Cubs the lead here off the bat of Glanville. 2 balls, no strikes.
And the infield in at all 4 positions. The bullpen up and going for Cincinnati. You'd like to get a run. The skies have darkened up. We don't expect any lengthy rain delays or anything along those lines, but you want to make sure when it becomes an official game that you have the lead.
Ball 3.
Well, we're into the Glanville right-handed, Grudzielanek right-handed, Sosa right-handed, and Alou et al. Part of the lineup, which would lead you to believe that if Dave Miley's going to make a change, it'll be Juan Ceros, and it's going to be in the not-too-distant future. I would think in the Grudzielanek part, if he doesn't get Glanville.
3-0. Taking all the way. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Mateo has a pretty good arm in right. Willie Mopena, okay in center. Branyan, okay in left.
Full count. A leadoff triple off the bat of Juan Cruz in a tie game as the Cubs poised to take a 5th inning lead.
We saw Juan Ceros yesterday, and he pitched a perfect inning, that being the 6th inning. Big at bat for Glanville.
And he takes a walk. So Dave Miley, a decision perhaps, as we'll watch Cruz from the plate to the third base pillow.
You don't think that's hard to do. This is only the 2nd walk that Glanville's taken, and here comes Juan Cruz. He does lose his footing ever so slightly, but of course clearly hits the front of the bag on his way to third. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Paul Horning. Here's Grudzielanek.
Well, Paul called me Bill, so I know I have good recognition in that great Notre Dame family.
Line drive into left field. Cubs have the lead.
One would have to wonder how long Dave Miley's going to go with his left-hander. record series for Mark Grudzielanek. It's seen him collect 5 base hits, and that will be it, as Juan Ceros will come in the game with runners at first and second. Nobody out, and the Cubs have retaken the lead in this seesaw affair.
So Ceros will stride in. Sosa, Alou, and Ramirez are waiting to come up. It's a 5-4 Cub lead. Juan Cruz led it off with a triple. He scored the go-ahead run as we battle on here in the 5th inning.
If only all businesses were like Walgreens Pharmacy, then they'd give you automatic refills too. Because Walgreens can automatically refill your prescription before it runs out. And they call or email you when it's ready. So it's easier to keep track of all your prescriptions. Fortunately, there's at least one place that's designed around your needs. Walgreens. Why go anywhere else?
Those guys are killing us. Ever since they added SBC Yahoo DSL, we just can't compete. You guys got change for 100? This stinks.
Finally, high-speed DSL is within everyone's reach. Add SBC Yahoo DSL to your home phone service for just $29.95 a month, guaranteed. One more way, we bring it all home.
At Subway, we put passion back in fashion.
So, how was lunch, Bob?
Magnifico! Try Subway's savory Caesar chicken, the taste of a Caesar salad in a sub. Roasted chicken breast, rich Caesar dressing, crunchy croutons, and Parmesan cheese on fresh-baked gourmet bread. Subway's savory Caesar chicken sub. Subway, eat fresh.
Try Subway's new savory Caesar chicken sub and receive a free movie or game rental voucher when you rent one at Blockbuster. Subway, eat fresh.
So Cub fans, young and old, enjoying the proceedings so far here in the 5th inning. Cubs have gone back in front now 5-4 with Sammy Sosa to face Mr. Ceros out of the Cincinnati bullpen. Ceros came in, as Steve mentioned yesterday, and worked a spotless 6th inning of play. He did not face Sosa.
Well, he hasn't had too much of a chance this year. This is just his 4th appearance. Just 2 2/3 innings. And a robust 10-13 ERA.
1-0 to Sosa. Runners at first and second with nobody out. Sammy.
You know, Chip, Sammy's at his best when he's driving the ball to right center field. And he's been pulling a whole lot of baseballs lately, and that usually leads to ground balls to the left side. The wind blowing out, even though it's blowing across, he's strong enough to hit it out in right center field.
Ball and a strike. They play him very deep, as you'd expect, and homer number 534 from Sammy Sosa would tie him for 11th on the all-time home run list with Jimmy Fox. Mickey Mantle 10th with 536. Sammy, your figure before the year's out, has an excellent shot of cracking the top 10 all-time this year.
Bullpen up and going once again for Cincinnati.
2 balls and a strike. Cubs have a 1-run lead here. Chopped toward Hummel at third. Second for 1. That's all they'll get. They're at the corners with 1 out.
Well, you might wonder why you would bring in a right-hand reliever and then get the bullpen loosened up with a right-handed reliever.
They only have 1 lefty.
Well, and also because the pitcher spot's due up third in the 6th inning, so Ceros figures one way or the other to be taken down. And it's Matt Belisle.
He came over from Atlanta as the player named for Kent Merker. As the Braves trying to shore up their middle relief for the postseason run. Here it's Alou with runners first and third, 1 out in the 5th inning. Alou doubled and scored in the 4-run Cubs 2nd inning.
Well, Ceros is a side wheeler. If he leaves the ball on the inner portion, he's making a mistake.
That sweeps too far outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Very happy fan. Someone telling him he's on television with his young son, who obviously is a great Sosa and Alou fan. And knowing how to get on TV at a young age is a tremendous advantage.
How about knowing how to write backwards on his own body? That's pretty remarkable. He got everything spelled right, too. 1 ball, 1 strike. Very smart kid.
He's having a pretty good day at the ballpark. And so's his sister and entire family. It's a huge crowd here today. Promising more of the same tomorrow, and same thing will hold true against the Mets.
1-1 count to Alou. Popped him up. That's right side. Moises will call everybody off. 2 men down. So tomorrow it's the series wrap-up. There are a few scattered tickets available, and if you're one of the first 10,000 fans at the ballpark, you'll get a scratch-off card and a shot at winning an authentic Rawlings autographed baseball signed by Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins. There will be 500 random winners, compliments of Popeyes and Pepsi, and there's no purchase necessary. It's a 1:20 game start. Tickets still available. Get them online at Cubs.com.
Big at bat for Ramirez, because when you start out with a triple, a walk, and a base hit, have nobody out, and only come away with 1, it's not a good inning for the offense.
Ramirez has singled and scored, and he chops that one slowly to the shortstop, Olmedo. He'll make the throw to first, and the Cubs do indeed settle for 1, and that's on the Cruz triple and the Grudzielanek base hit. They do, however, have the lead after 5. It's the Cubs 5 and the Reds 4.
What you doing, Brian?
Oh, I'm just putting my name and address in these bottles and sending them out to sea. Hopefully someone will find them and contact me someday.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Why? Why do you torture me, Brian Henderson of 12 Maple Lane?
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
Brian. Nice to meet you.
At CarQuest, our people go above and beyond the call of duty to help the technician working on your car by supplying them with superior service and only quality auto parts. Like Autolite Platinum Spark Plugs. Get the latest original equipment technology. Dependable and durable Autolite Platinum and Double Platinum Spark Plugs. Designed for one perfect spark every time. With nearly 4,000 stores and over 130,000 CarQuest parts to choose from. We'll be there when you need us. CarQuest, the professional choice.
The Home Depot is more than a store. It's licensed professional installation through at-home services. From concept to cleanup and beyond, all of the work is backed by a solid Home Depot guarantee. So at-home services is installation you can trust. Everything from beautiful kitchens to gorgeous countertops to floors, windows, and doors. At-home services from the Home Depot. You can do it. We can help. Right now, get 20% off all special order wood, laminate, ceramic, stone, and vinyl flooring.
Makes me feel like I'm a step ahead of the game.
The Camry LE, starting at $19,530.
Well, let's see if Juan Cruz can navigate the lower third of this Cincinnati lineup. The Cubs have a 1-run lead for them at 5-4. It's Pena, Miller, and then an ever-dangerous Cincinnati pinch hitter. They lead all of baseball, by the way, in homers and RBIs off the bench this season.
They've got some thunder from the left side. We saw Stenson yesterday come up with a key double. We saw Valent, another left-hander. They're pretty strong from the left side off the bench. That's one of the reasons why you'd like to take care of the right-handers before you get to that left-hand pinch hitter. With that in mind, the bullpen continues to throw. And it'll be Belial coming into the game.
Generous outside corner. Cruz will take it. 3 balls and a strike.
This is where you have to be careful, because Willie Moe has great power, looking fastball middle in. That's the one pitch he's looking for.
Forces a foul ball out of play. Full count at 3-2. Reds trying to play the role of the spoiler. The first 2 games have been very, very pesky. And Pena leads off and represents the tying run with a solid single into left center field. Corky Miller, the hitter. Before he bats, let's step aside and tell you what's coming up on WGN.
This Sunday, you want to see somebody play for $1 billion? Watch Pepsi's Play for $1 Billion, hosted by Drew Carey and Jamie Kennedy. This Sunday at 7, only on WGN, Chicago's WB.
Here is Miller. He singled, scored, and hit a sac fly. The Cubs would dearly love a ground ball. Pitch count piling up for Cruz. The pen's going to go to work for Larry Rothschild and Dusty Baker here.
Corky Miller taking a look down at Ray Knight, who's the third base coach, former Cub. Jose Cardinal, the first base coach. And the pen up and going. Mark Guthrie and out. Both of them had a tough time yesterday, but today's another layout. That goes flying. And Chip had hit an empty seat. I don't think it hit anybody, and fans get a souvenir, and everybody comes away unscathed. There's a break.
Yeah, it was headed toward that guy in the blue shirt seat. He got out of the way in a big hurry.
Well, there's not too much room in the stands today. And fortunately, it hit no one.
Watch the guy in the blue shirt. The Suds paid the ultimate price.
And he didn't come away with anything except an empty hand. Well, apparently that guy did get a little shaken up. Hopefully he's going to be okay. Yeah, I don't think it was initially getting hit by the bat. I think it was in the scramble for the bat.
One pitch over the outside corner.
You have to take the attitude that I always had when I was pitching. When they hit the ball back up the middle, you get out of the way if it's even close. That's what those guys are paid for in back of you. In this case, they're going to make a trade for a bat. And the young man's going to come away with a souvenir.
1-2. Good pickup by Damian Miller. That saved the base.
And Cruz has been less than unhittable, and things starting to get away from him here. Good play by Damian Miller, keeping the double play in order.
Here comes the 2-2. Runner goes, and it's chopped foul.
Pretty good idea by Dave Miley, because you know, with a slow running catcher up, if he hits the ball on the ground, get a good shot at 2.
Again, the runner goes, and it's a line drive into right field. Beautiful at bat by Corky Miller. And the Reds have runners at first and third and nobody out.
Well, if the bullpen is ready, and if it's not, you send somebody out to talk with Cruz, because he's running out of gas. And I think Grudzielanek will be the first to talk with him, and Miller looking over in the dugout to see if he should be the second. That's a high fastball up in the zone. For the moment, the Cubs still have the lead, and Eric Valent is going to come to the mound. With that, Dusty looking over the lineup card. He'll also come to the mound. And I think that will be it for Cruz.
So Valent will come on. He has been announced. He's officially in the game. Dusty Baker with a long look down. He has to go down there again in game 2 of this series. He's got the left-hander Mark Guthrie up and throwing. Mark's had a couple of frustrating outings, and he is the man summoned here in our 6th inning of play. So Cruz goes 5 innings plus. He surrenders 10 Cincinnati hits, 4 runs so far. Cruz walked a man, struck out 3, and leaves with a precarious lead of 1 run at 5-4. Guthrie in. We'll tell you about his season after this.
The Home Depot is more than a store. It's licensed professional installation through at-home services. From concept to cleanup, all of the work is backed by a solid Home Depot guarantee. So at-home services is installation you can trust. Everything from beautiful kitchens to gorgeous countertops to floors, windows, and doors. At-home services from the Home Depot. You can do it. We can help. Right now, get a free stainless steel sink with the purchase of any Silestone countertop and installation.
Y'all just be ready, because here come the change.
In a world filled with questions, she's got all the answers.
Let's play Millionaire.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire 2? The 2nd season.
Woo!
Too much money.
You got $500,000.
Too much fun.
How do I look, all right?
Too exciting to miss.
We have our first woman as a millionaire.
Meredith Vieira.
Yes!
The 2nd season of Weekday Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Woo!
Coming this fall. Premiering Monday at 11 on WGN.
2 on, nobody out in the Red 6th, and it's time for our Budweiser Game Time Fan Cam. Nobody out for Valent, and he rips it foul and out of play. This is the dangerous portion for Cincinnati. Their pinch hitters all year long have been exceptionally potent.
Mark Guthrie came in yesterday. 3 left-hand hitters, 3 base hits. That doesn't matter today. They have runners at the corners, nobody out, looking for a double play.
A strikeout would be nice, too. And you know Guthrie really wants to have a good outing today. Mark gave up 3 runs on 3 hits, did not retire a hitter yesterday. And Mark also struggled in game 2 in San Juan, where he walked a couple of men with the bags full.
But still in all, it's been a great year for Guthrie with an ERA in the 2s.
And that's out of play as we close in on 5 o'clock here in Chicago. Cubs leading 5-4. We're in the 6th.
Well, 0-2, the figure that you want to get a strikeout. The best way to do it is low and out of the zone. With that in mind, Damian Miller has to smother it.
And he does. Brewers still shutting out San Francisco. That one's 4-0 after 7 innings of play today. Doug Davis and Sidney Ponson, the starters out west. 1-2 to Valent. Good at bat continues at the top of the hour. We'll pause for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN-TV, Chicago's WB.
One-two count. Popped up back toward us. Nice catch.
Olmedo in the on-deck circle. You leave Guthrie and you turn him around to his weaker side, which is the right side. Weaker as far as batting average is concerned. He's hitting 30 points less.
Lynn still blowing out the 1-2. Got him with a big breaking ball. Now a ground ball could end the inning and keep the Cubs in front.
Sweeping breaking ball from Mark Guthrie. Pretty good pitch. Great location. And now from the Southwest Airlines plain view camera, we'll take a look at an unhittable pitch and a big first out. Olmedo's grounded into 4 double plays. Strangely, all of them from the left side. Cubs play him up the middle, and they're looking for 2.
Olmedo an RBI single his last time up, and a line drive means another RBI hit. They're tied again, 5-5. Left-handed, right-handed, doesn't matter. This guy's had a good series. Stopping at second is Miller. Pena scores, and we're tied at 5.
Guthrie got that ball up, and Olmedo made him pay the price. Alfonseca continues to loosen up in the pen.
Here's Hummel. Not coincidentally, we're in the 6th. Hummel with a double and a run scored back in the 3rd inning of play. That one gets away. Miller's throw to third is late. Corky Miller takes advantage of the ball in the dirt. Olmedo also in at second base.
That's going to go as a wild pitch. You better make sure that if you're going to go to third in this situation that you can make it easily. This is a little closer than I think that Ray Knight, the third base coach, wanted. Good call by Jerry Meals. And you take the double play out of the equation.
Corky Miller's had a heck of a day today. He stands at third, representing the go-ahead run. Wynn picking up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Another good stop. 2-1 your count.
And that time, Corky Miller faked as if he was going to come home. The left-hander on the mound. The squeeze is a possibility. You have to figure Hummel, who's a middle infielder, can handle the bat well. Yet he does not have the sacrifice this year.
A run on 3 hits here in the 6th for Cincinnati. And it's ball 3 with the switch hitting Jimenez waiting next, and he's had a hot day.
Jimenez had a hot series. 2 hits yesterday, 2 hits today. He scored a couple of runs.
Full count.
Dave Miley has these Cincinnati Reds playing as hard as they can possibly play. And they're giving the Cubs all they want in this series through a game and a half.
3-2. Grounded toward third and through for a hit. That's going to score Miller. Olmedo will stop at third. Again, they're at the corners with 1 man out. And you can close the book on Juan Cruz. He gives up 6.
Mark Guthrie has had 3 real tough outings in a row. This one through the left side. Runners at the corners. And with Jimenez a better hitter and a stronger hitter from the left side, Larry Rothschild's going to come out and talk with him about how he wants him to attack him. You also have Casey in the on-deck circle. And the lone man you have up in the pen is Antonio Alfonseca.
So Cincinnati back in front this seesaw series. As the Reds up by a run. Obviously still an eternity of baseball left today. Cubs have their turn in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th if necessary.
Well, apparently they didn't like the Alfonseca warm-up, so they're going to go to Veers.
You can tell a lot about a guy's stuff from the way he warms up.
Sometimes you certainly can. And they're getting him ready in a hurry. Antonio sitting down equally as hurriedly. But the game at hand is Guthrie against a red-hot Jimenez.
Oh, for a double play ball here. Popped up. That's going to help the cause big time. There's 2 down. Jimenez a little anxious, and now Casey will hit. Casey an RBI single back in the 3rd.
Well, as we said yesterday, when the Reds came all the way back to take the lead, there's still a long way to go today against a pen that has been less than overpowering. You get out of here with just the 1-run deficit, you should be in pretty good shape.
Cincinnati with 12 hits, 10 of them singles. That's how you can score 6 runs through 6. Put the ball in play. They have done that today. Have struck out just 4 times so far today, and this is a team that has struck out more than any other in Major League Baseball this year. Tomato getting a huge running lead down at 3rd base as Guthrie makes the pitch. If it skips too far away from Miller, he might think about coming home here.
And Chip, that lead should be done this way. You don't want to speed up and then stop. You'd like to take a gradual lead, have all your momentum going forward when the pitch comes, because you want to be going forward. You can score that on a short either pass ball or wild pitch.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Almeida knows he can take as much of a lead as Ramirez is away from 3rd base, and that's a considerable distance. That was a pretty good shot from the high first camera where you saw where Ramirez was and Almeida coming down the line. He's a good 20 or so feet off the bag.
1-2 pitch. Guthrie to first.
What Jose Cardenal just mentioned to Almeida was, if you see that guy thrown to first, start down the line. You just might be able to steal home.
We saw that earlier this year.
Unfortunately, we did.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The huge lead at 3rd. And Casey pops it up. Shallow center field. Glanville has it tracked, and he's got it. That'll retire the side. 2 Reds runs on 4 hits. They leave a pair stranded. Middle of the 6th inning. The Reds are back in front by only 1 run.
Chicago Cubs baseball brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Chicago Cubs.
Some opportunities are too good to pass up. The Nissan Sentra.
Dad? Hey, Kevin!
Dude, isn't that your mom? September is your last chance. Time for one last cookout. One last road trip. And in September, one last chance to grab a great selection of 2003 Dodges in stock with our best deals. Like cash allowances of up to $4,500. Or 0% APR financing for 60 months on select models. Plus, get Dodge's fully transferable 7-year or 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Great products, great protection, great deals. See your local Dodge dealer for the best values in America.
This portion of Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
Celebrate country music at Wrigley Field on Monday, September 15th, courtesy of Southwest Airlines. The newest member of the Grand Ole Opry, Capitol recording artist Trace Adkins will appear at the game. Country music memorabilia will be given away throughout the game, and one lucky fan wins a trip to Nashville for 2 from Southwest Airlines. The Cubs will take on the Mets. It's a night game, 7:05 the first pitch, and there are some good tickets still available. Get them online at Cubs.com.
Matt Belisle comes in at 1-0, ERA 3 on for the third time.
And Eric Karros hits a rocket that's caught by Hummel at third. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Chip, you know, I'm a great proponent of Tribune newspaper. It's a great newspaper. I don't know if you noticed it, because I just read a sport page most of the time.
Yeah, I do too.
Got to applaud a travel writer. I don't think his name is Ed or Ned or something, but he's got a new column that's really funny. It's called Evaluating Things That I've Never Done and Don't Understand. I had an article in the paper yesterday, and next up, it's explaining open heart and vascular surgery. And personally, I can't wait for that.
Is this satire?
I think so. What else could it be if you've never done it?
Good point. Here's Alex Gonzalez. Alex has been on base twice. He's scored a run. He's driven in a run. He's also stolen a bag and then wandered a bit too far after a terrific fake by the middle infield of Cincinnati. Another ground ball out, 2 away very quickly here in the 6th.
So far, the Cubs making it easy on Belisle, who's had a pretty good run, but only 3 outings for the Reds this year, and they're using a whole lot of new people, trying to find out about who can do it, who can't. He was promoted from Louisville on Sunday, and he threw a couple of innings against St. Louis in his major league debut.
Belisle, another product of the Atlanta Braves farm system. They've traded away a lot of guys to get what they need late in the season.
Well, Chip, he must have been highly thought of, because Atlanta, a pitching-rich organization, picked him #1 in June 1998. And when that organization picks you #1, you got to have some skill.
Belisle did not pitch in the year 2001. He had some injury problems, but he has no problems carving through a 1-2-3 bottom half of the 6th inning. Reds protecting a 1-run lead. It's a 6-5 score.
Hello.
Hey, it's Susie. I'm in the neighborhood. I thought I'd stop by.
I don't know if that's a good idea. My place is kind of,
I've got some Bud Light.
Come on up.
Nice place.
Thanks. I'll put this in the fridge. Make yourself at home.
Okay.
With a great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down.
A bowling ball.
Make it a Bud Light.
Some daily costs can get completely out of hand. Here's one that won't. Introducing AT&T One Rate USA. For only $1.67, make all the local calls you want from home and all the long-distance calls you want to. With your choice of calling features. Yep, still only $1.67 a day. Forget the minutes. Talk for hours. All day if you want. You got it. Still just $1.67 a day. Plus, sign up today, and for a limited time, you'll save $60 your first year. Life is full of surprises. Your phone bill shouldn't be one of them.
No matter where you buy your gas, it can be a painful experience or a delightfully rare occurrence. It's all in the choice of car you drive. The very fuel-efficient Accord LX from Honda.
Chip Carey, Steve Stone back at Wrigley Field. We head to the 7th inning, and bad news, the Reds have a 1-run lead. This pesky Cincinnati attack, Stoney, is singling the Cubs to death today.
The Cubs have taken the lead here in the last couple of games. That's going to be a tough play. In fact, put it in your pocket, don't throw it, because it'll go as a base hit. An ominous beginning for Mark Guthrie, who got out of the last inning, and now you got Antonio Alfonseca throwing in the bullpen. And we'll have to see with Dusty Baker making the trip to the mound. That might be it for Alfonseca. So, Chip, you're right. The Reds have battled back. They've done a real good job, and it's up to the Cubs to go get him, because now the lights are on, and there's a lot of people home.
Unfortunately, more have scored for Cincinnati than the Cubs, as Antonio Alfonseca is greeted by the fans who cheer that Moose nickname he's heard quite a bit lately here at home. It's a 6-5 game in favor of the Reds. Back with more from Wrigley Field right after this.
On the WB Monday, the season premiere of Seventh Heaven.
Carlos and I...
You're engaged.
We're...
There are moments that reshape a family.
You want to have a baby?
For the Camdens, that moment is now.
One life has changed forever.
I'm responsible.
And one life is over.
For killing someone.
The season premiere of Seventh Heaven.
Monday night at 7 on WGN, Chicago's WB.
On the WB Monday, Everwood is back with all new episodes. One decision.
Prepare to close.
Will change a town.
I'm sick of everyone lying to me.
Everwood, picked as TV Guide's returning favorite for Monday night.
You need a football scholarship. Why? Because you're not smart enough.
The New York Times calls it addictive and appealing.
You should have told me. I'm your son.
I couldn't take that risk.
Everwood returns with all new episodes.
Monday night at 8 on WGN.
On the WB Wednesday, the season premiere event. He left behind the ones he loves.
Smallville is not a part of my past.
No matter where he hides.
Monty, you can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved.
No matter what he becomes.
I found Clark.
Do you always betray the people you love?
He can never deny his destiny.
I love you.
Get out!
Smallville. Season premiere Wednesday, October 1st on WGN. Skies clouding up here in Chicago. 6-5 our score before the Reds continue their offense here at Wrigley Field. Let's step aside and tell you what's coming up on WGN. It's everything you'd expect from Sharon and nothing you'd expect in daytime. The Sharon Osbourne Show, premiering Monday at 4 on WGN, Chicago's WB. Let's see if Antonio Alfonseca can turn his fortunes around here. Cubs can't give up too much more. They're down a run. And it is the 7th inning. Ruben Mateo, the man greeting him here.
Runner at first, nobody out for Alfonseca, who's keeping him close. And Alfonseca has got to shorten up his delivery. He has a long, deliberate delivery home. That sets it up for base stealers. Brandon is not one of the most prolific in that department.
That's to Ray Knight at third. Good catch by the Cincinnati coach.
Ray Knight was a quality third baseman. He played for the Reds. He played for the Mets. In fact, I believe he was the MVP in the World Series. Finished his career with Baltimore. He's a terrific guy, good baseball man. Been around a long time.
No balls and a strike to Mateo.
Teo real strong, and they're playing him as a dead pull hitter because he sees inside pitches.
Sharply hit. Second one. 2 at first.
That's why you play him as a dead pull hitter, and that's why it turned into 2. So out through the sinker, got the ground ball, and for the moment, he's got 2 quick outs.
Here's Pena. We're 1 out away from the Hall of Fame voice of the Cincinnati Reds joining us for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And here we go. A little ground ball to short. Pena is retired. Time to sing. Cubs trail by a run. Here comes Marty Brenneman. Boy, what a great guy he is. It's time for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Are you ready? A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and crackers. I don't care if I ever get back, and we'll root for the Cubs. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Thank you. Thank you.
The Range Rover by Land Rover.
Hey, Rick, headed to Subway?
Yeah, the one at the next stop.
Anything new?
Well, actually, right now, we have 2 delicious foot-long sandwiches for just $7.99. That's 2 feet of fresh-made taste for just $7.99.
Good job. Sunday, Big Frank and the Sox battle Boston right after the pregame special push for the playoffs. Sunday at 12:30 on WGN. Now every game counts.
On the WB Monday, the season premiere of Everwood.
Can you promise me that I won't lose my mind or my memory?
One decision
I don't know.
will change more than a life.
What did you do?
It will change a town.
You kept this from me.
So what happens now with us?
The season premiere of Everwood.
Monday night at 8 on WGN.
Well, we're joined by Marty Brenneman in the booth after his rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Now, Marty, a couple of weeks ago, Peter Cetera was upstairs with us. We got a lot of emails about when he'd be performing next in town.
You want to know when I'm performing next in town?
There's no doubt about it.
You want to know when you're leaving town.
Peter Cetera, October 24th at the Rosemont Theater.
What?
There's the telephone number. It's presented by Michelob Ultra. Lose the carbs, not the taste. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank God that's over with.
Hey, I'll tell you what, the grandkids look great. Dawn looks terrific, and I know we want to pass along a happy belated birthday to Tommy. 40 years young yesterday.
Well, you're a dear friend of his, and of course he and Steve are extremely tight and have been over the years.
Huh? We go back a long way.
Yes, you do. There are stories you can tell publicly and stories you can't tell.
No, you know, I'd never do that, Tommy, but I will tell you that I can never remember him picking up a check ever.
No.
In our association. We were partners for 6 years. Now,
he's very close to his money.
And it will be closer now with the offspring.
Yes, you will. That's true.
And there are a few stories that we'd love to find out. We're trying, as Kevin often goes
to one in particular.
Exactly.
And we'll just leave it at that.
That's exactly right. How are you, pal?
I'm good, Chip. How are you?
Well, let me ask you about this year. Obviously, it did not go the way that you and a lot of folks thought it would for the Reds this season. You figured to have a star-studded offense, but your big bats just haven't stayed healthy as Lofton goes to work here in the 7th inning. An extra base hit into the right field corner, and here come the Cubs again.
Yeah, it's been the most bizarre year. In the 30 years I've been with this ball club, I've never seen a year like this. The injuries, which have been massive, and the dealing of people like Boone and Guillen and Williamson and people like that. And quite honestly, this is the worst big league team I've ever seen, the one I'm looking at right now. But I give them a lot of credit, and I give Dave Miley credit, who I think should be given the job next year. These guys have not quit on him. They played hard, and I think you guys have seen evidence of that in this series.
Well, Marty, what we've seen is a team with some young players, some young veteran players, but guys who have played awfully hard. And right now they've given the Cubs everything that they could have wanted and more. But you're right about Dave Miley. I don't know about the job next year. I do know what I see this year. This team is trying every inning. They're playing as hard as they can every day. There's no doubt they're out-talented by some clubs, but it's a testament to Dave Miley and his staff that they got them going.
Well, Steve, I think that's what you have to... at the end of the day, you can't judge Dave Miley's job on how many games they win or lose. You can't do that, because I don't think the greatest manager in the history of the game could win with this team. I think you have to take into consideration if these kids continue to play for him, which they have done. And however else you judge it, I don't know. The media loves him. I think the fan support in Cincinnati grows by the day that they want to see him back, and I don't know how else you can judge a guy.
Well, Marty, now that you have taken your hat out of the ring.
Yes.
As Glanville bunts, and the sacrifice works. Tying run 90 feet away.
By the way, let me preface that by saying that it's an ample hat. Who do you think?
Every day, Marty. Every day.
Who do you think will have a shot at general managing this team? Because that will have a great deal to decide who actually will manage this team. And I know there's a lot of candidates. What have you heard, if anything, and when will the decision be made, if you have any idea?
Well, before I answer that, I'd like to say that hopefully I can hang around longer to be your broadcast voice in Las Vegas.
You can.
But aside from that, as far as names are concerned, there have been all kinds of names. Omar Minaya has been, most people would say, not having any inside knowledge, but I think most people would say that if there's a front runner, he'd be the guy. But there are a lot of other people. Wayne Krivsky, his name has been mentioned with the Minnesota Twins. Al Avila with the Detroit Tigers.
Look, it's a great job. It's a team with a great tradition in a very supportive city, and I would assume that there's no end of candidates for that job. We have a guy here, Marty, in Gary Hughes.
Well, I'm a big Gary Hughes fan.
Who's a terrific guy.
Big Gary Hughes fan.
And certainly deserves a job. At least I know that John Allen will give him consideration. That's all you can ask at the end of the day.
I would think so. I think so, Steve. You know, he's a people person, and quite honestly, the guy we had before is not in Jim Bowden. Gary Hughes, he knows how much I respect him and the job he's done in baseball. And, you know, if at the end of the day, they name Gary Hughes general manager, that'd be fine with me.
He's a terrific guy, a wonderful baseball man, and he's given his life to the game as an evaluator, I think, without peer. And I think Jim Henry said it when he said, you know what, the shame in this game is that Jim Henry has a general manager job before Gary Hughes. And that being said, Jim Henry has done a magnificent job here, and I think will be the executive of the year in the National League.
Well, I do a radio show every day with a former Reds outfielder, Tracy Jones, and we did a series of shows that we taped, one of which was executive of the year, and I picked Jim Henry as the general manager of the year.
With the infield in, Grudzielanek finds a hole. Lofton's double turns into gold, and the Cubs have tied the game. Grudzielanek has his second 3-hit game of this series.
Marty, you saw so many championship teams, and I know you were fortunate to be able to broadcast some wonderful Red teams, but when you have a winning team, you see guys like Mark Grudzielanek come to your organization in a trade with the Dodgers and have the kind of year he's having along with Eric Karros. They've been two of the reasons why the Cubs are still in contention right now.
Well, not only that, but, you know, when you talk about Jim Henry being executive of the year, I base it also on what he's done since the season started.
Oh, no question.
People like Simon and Ramirez and Lofton and Glanville. He has done everything in his power. Now, he works for an outfit that has allowed him to do that, whereas other general managers don't have that freedom. But that's not his fault. And for my money, he's done the best job, if not him, than Larry Beinfest down in Florida. And going back to Gary Hughes, I think what it says about Gary Hughes is that Jim Henry thought enough of him upon ascending to this position in Chicago. I want him to be my right-hand guy.
And another thing to bear in mind, Jim Henry out of the world of baseball, and don't forget how good that job is in the Cub dugout. He wanted Dusty Baker. He waited, and he went out and he got him, and that's one of the big acquisitions of the year for the Cubs.
No sharply hit. That's off the glove of Hummel at third. No play, and the Cubs have 2 on with 1 out. Sosa hits a rocket.
And Marty, we really want you to stay here because things are going well. Look up for the Cubs.
We've enjoyed this so far.
Oh, so you want me to hang around? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Don't go anywhere.
I got to ask you a question.
Which one?
Right here.
Me?
I've already nailed you. Now I'm going to nail him now.
Oh, please do.
Do you make it a habit of walking around Chicago at 9:30 and 10 o'clock at night with your WGN shirt on?
Absolutely. Publicity, man.
You know you were seen last night.
Yeah, Tom Hume.
He couldn't wait to tell me.
Don't be hating, man.
He said, would you mention? I said, would I mention it? Are you kidding me?
You've never been shy about mentioning it.
Marty, he does that so people...
Now, you don't do that.
No,
I know that.
I don't do that, but he does that so people will give him a collection of free things.
Is that correct?
Let me tell you something, pal. This guy leads the league in checks not picked up. And he's been out of work for 2 years, for crying out loud.
Hey, I've been out of fixed income. I'm a veteran, man, you know.
I know you are.
And he's about to get married. How about that? We'll take a break. Keep it here with Marty Brenneman in Chicago. We're tied 6-6. Down to the pen again goes Cincinnati here in Chicago.
If only all businesses were like Walgreens Pharmacy, then they'd give you automatic refills too. Because Walgreens can automatically refill your prescription before it runs out. And they call or email you when it's ready. So it's easier to keep track of all your prescriptions. Fortunately, there's at least one place that's designed around your needs. Walgreens. Why go anywhere else?
Those guys are killing us. Ever since they added SBC Yahoo DSL, we just can't compete. Guys, got change for 100? This stinks.
Finally, high-speed DSL is within everyone's reach. Add SBC Yahoo DSL to your home phone service for just $29.95 a month, guaranteed. One more way, we bring it all home.
At Subway, we put passion back in fashion.
So, how was lunch, Bob?
Magnifico! Try Subway's savory Caesar chicken, the taste of a Caesar salad in a sub. Roasted chicken breast, rich Caesar dressing, crunchy croutons, and Parmesan cheese on fresh-baked gourmet bread. Subway's savory Caesar chicken sub. Subway, eat fresh.
Try Subway's new savory Caesar chicken sub and receive a free movie or game rental voucher when you rent one at Blockbuster. Subway, eat fresh.
We're going to keep Marty Brenneman here whether he likes it or not, because the Cubs hope to take the lead here. 2 on with 1 out. Darnell Stenson's in right. Randall in to pitch for the Cincinnati Reds. And, of course, Marty, 30 seasons behind the microphone. What was that moment like, number one, when you got the phone call saying you were the Ford Frick honoree, and number two, when you finally stood behind that podium and accepted the nomination into the Hall of Fame?
The phone call was like, you know, you hear people facing death and their life flashes in front of them. My whole career flashed in front of me when Dale Petrosky called me at 7 minutes after 11 on that day in February 3 years ago. And as far as standing in front in front of the podium, I thought I was going to hyperventilate backstage had it not been for Gaylord Perry that got me calmed down. And you guys are like me. Our whole lives have been in front of people, whether it's been over the air or face to face, and so that's never bothered me. But that day it did. And Gaylord helped to settle me down a little bit. And once I got started, I was fine. But it was nerve-wracking as a dickens, I'll tell you that.
1 strike to pitch. Have you gotten used to the fact that you are in the Hall of Fame? I mean, you've been so well known around Cincinnati, but to be one of the greats of all time,
well, you know,
how's that changed your life?
It's changed my life. I know Jack Buck, God rest his soul, called me within an hour after I got the call and said, this is going to have a greater effect on your family than it ever will on you. And I said, I don't know what you mean by that. He said, long after you're gone, your grandkids and your great-grandkids, anytime your name comes up, Hall of Fame broadcaster will be in front of that. And he said, so it'll mean much more to your family in the years to come than it will mean to you. But he said, in many cases, you'll be treated differently. I don't get treated differently by you people, but
no difference whatsoever.
Not a chance. Nor do I get treated any differently from the people that I work with in the Reds organization. But you do. People look at you in a different light, whether they be fans or media people outside of big league outside of a big league environment. It does make a difference. And you know, it's a thrill for me because guys like, you know, Scully and Harry and people like that, and of course this man here on the screen had a lot to do with me getting there because he and I have been together, Joe Nuxhall and I, for 30 years.
Marty, there's one question that I want to ask you, and I think you don't have control over it, but they only take one broadcaster in per year. They'll take, on occasion, a couple of players.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we're partial to Ron Santo here as far as the player's concerned, but as far as the broadcaster is concerned, there's so many older broadcasters that have literally given their lives to the game. Do you see that ever changing, where a guy can enjoy the Hall of Fame while he's still with us?
Well, I sure hope so, Steve. I really think the selection, the way the broadcaster is selection may change. Right now, I think there's a committee of 7 or 8 or 9 people on the committee. And I think that possibly could change to include a lot of other people in the years to come, which may make it a little bit tougher. I don't know, but I agree with you. I say, you know, those people who make it after they're gone, the hell with that.
3-2 pitch. Runners are moving. The ball is low. It's ball 4. And the Cubs have the bases loaded with 1 man out.
The play at third was irrelevant. Dusty sent him to stay out of the double play. And Marty, I think when I hear comments by players like Mike Schmidt when they changed the voting and they voted on the old-timers, and you know, everybody has an opinion, nobody's wrong or right, but it's not a zero-sum game, meaning if you bring more guys into the Hall of Fame as either a player or a broadcaster, it does not in any way, shape, or form detract from the guys who are already in there. There's plenty of room for everybody. Absolutely. And that's the way it should be. Now, you know, guys who deserve it should be there, but if a third baseman, in this case Ron Santo, were to get in, or another broadcaster, whoever it might be, it will in no way, shape, or form detract from your career or what Mike Schmidt accomplished in the game. And that's one thing that people can't lose sight of when they make selections for the Hall of Fame.
Chop toward the hole and through for a hit. 1 run scores. Here comes Sosa. He'll stop. Ball was bobbled momentarily and left by Branyan. Wendell Kim couldn't anticipate that, but the ball bounced through the left side for Aramis Ramirez. He has his 95th RBI, and the Cubs are back in front, 7-6.
And we really like you in the booth, so don't go anywhere. The time this inning is over, you can go back to Joe with a tremendous deficit.
I understand that.
More of a deficit than you already have.
Again, you've been around a long time. Tell our fans who are watching this game today your impressions of this Cub ball club. You've seen everybody in the division. We're partial. We think the Cubs are going to win the Central. Do you agree with us?
No. I've said Houston for 3 months, and I'm not changing now. Having said that, as I said on the air today, if you don't win it, you have no excuses because you've got the easiest schedule.
Absolutely.
I mean, drop dead easy, as opposed to what Houston has. And I don't even count the Cardinals anymore because they're going to fade off silently into the night, I think.
That's inside the bag fair. Marty, we love you. Sosa scores. Here comes Alou. He's going to score. Ramirez to third. Karros with a double. 9-6. Field this time of year, Marty, 39,000, almost 40,000 on hand today.
Well, you know, I would love to see this franchise reach 3 million. As I told you off the air, John McDonough and I talked earlier today, and you know, you play most of your games in the daytime. Most of your games are televised. The parking around here is almost non-existent. For this franchise to draw 3 million is a credit to the talent on the field, and it also speaks volumes about the fans that watch this team play year in and year out.
They've been loyal, they've been patient, and this year they're coming out in record numbers. And when we both talked about Jim Henry and the acquisitions, just take a look what Grudzielanek and Karros have done. That's the second double RBI double, 4 of them for Karros, and Grudzielanek with 3 hits. And to win championships, that's the kind of production you have to have from your veteran players.
Absolutely. I'll never forget back in 1987, I guess, or 88, when the Reds were on the way to finishing second for the 58th consecutive year or whatever it was under Pete Rose. And the Reds were in New York to play the Mets, and they were in first place. And Keith Hernandez said to me, your club will not win this division. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, you won't win it because your bench is too young and too inexperienced. And he said, if you're going to win and be in the postseason, you have to have either the proper blend or you have to have a veteran bench. And I only bring that up because you look over on Dusty's bench, and that's what you people have.
Look who came off yesterday, Tom Goodwin.
Right.
That's one of the things that Jim Hendry addressed in the wintertime, was bringing in veterans to come off the bench late, because you're right, rookies don't win games late, and they don't win games in championship runs. It's the guys who have been around them and through it before that win.
Today it was Kenny Lofton with a leadoff double here in the 7th inning. Glanville sacrificed him to third. Drawn in infield, Grudzielanek drove him home. Sosa singled. Alou walked against Randall. Ramirez a single. Karros a double. Gonzalez intentionally walked to load the bases with one out. For Damian Miller, the 9th man to hit in the inning, and he's got a 2-2 count. Well, the next time we see you after tomorrow, we'll be in your fair city waiting for the hospitality of our friends Eddie and Patty Shepard at the Mount Adams Bar.
There you go. See?
Again.
You didn't do it.
And he wears the WGN shirt when he does it.
He's the one who brought Ed and Pat up.
Let me tell you.
And the Mount Adams Bar and Grill.
Bring him up, it's no free meals.
Do they make him pick up a check in that place?
Absolutely.
I mean, they pay.
Yes.
Does he pay?
Not
yes.
a chance.
Yes.
I haven't seen one yet.
I'm telling you, you're absolutely shameless. I'm not kidding. You know, your old man didn't bring you up like that.
Let's not go that.
No, but his grandfather did.
Yeah, or maybe your granddad did.
Speaking of free meals, what are you doing for dinner tonight? Marty, we'll let you go.
All right, thanks a lot,
I think Nuxie needs a beer and a...
Yeah, you've had enough of me, Steve. I'm done.
Marty Brenneman, the great Hall of Fame voice of the Cincinnati Reds, one of our dear friends. It's always a pleasure to have him join us, and ever more so as the Cubs have come back to take a big lead here at home in this 7th inning of play. Thanks, Marty.
The Home Depot is more than a store. It's licensed professional installation through at-home services. From concept to cleanup, all of the work is backed by a solid Home Depot guarantee. So at-home services is installation you can trust. Everything from beautiful kitchens to gorgeous countertops to floors, windows, and doors. At-home services from the Home Depot. You can do it. We can help. Right now, get a free stainless steel sink with the purchase of any Silestone countertop and installation.
Y'all just be ready, because here come the change.
In a world filled with questions, she's got all the answers.
Let's play Millionaire.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire 2? The 2nd season.
Woo!
Too much money.
You got $500,000.
Too much fun.
How do I look, all right?
Too exciting to miss.
We have our first woman as a millionaire.
Meredith Vieira.
Yes.
The 2nd season of Weekday Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Woo!
Coming this fall. Premiering Monday at 11 on WGN.
Well, we hated to let Reds legend Marty Brenneman go, but I think Joe Nuxall was about to faint. A huge inning for the Cubs here in the 7th. Kenny Lofton started the frame with a leadoff double, and now he bats again, this time against former Cub and the lone left-hander in the red pen, Philip Norton.
And Norton's done a nice job as a Red in this his 10th appearance, 14th overall. Cubs thought very highly of this guy and traded him to Cincinnati. And Chip, Kenny Lofton started everything off. He came in a pinch hitting role, and again, Marty Brenneman brought it up. You bring veterans off the bench, guys who have been through it before. Kenny was through it with Dusty Baker last year with San Francisco when they came one game away from winning the World Championship. If you can do that, you got a pretty good shot. And we talked when the Reds took the lead, eventually they would go to a much beleaguered bullpen, and the Cubs have taken advantage of it.
2 strikes to Lofton, bags full. way outside. 1-2. Another game starting with playoff implications. The Florida Marlins got 6 runs in the first inning today against the Atlanta Braves.
But it's early yet. The Marlins are playing great baseball.
Dontrell Willis going for the fish. Russ Ortiz going for his 20th win for Atlanta. The Braves just scored in the second. They are down, though, 6-1 in South Florida. Of course, the Marlins nip and tuck with the Philadelphia Phillies for the wild card lead. The Phillies game and a half back. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Lofton now. Full count, 3-2.
Kenny Lofton, since putting on that Cub uniform, is hitting right around 320. Advantage now is bases loaded, everybody running, and the fans on their feet.
39,983 the attendance today. The Cubs well over 2.7 million already this year. Here comes the 3-2 pitch to Lofton. Runners go. Breaking ball popped up down the right field line. And Sean Casey will make the play in foul territory. And that is going to retire the side. Big inning for the Cubs. They score 4. They send 10 to the plate. And they've retaken the lead here at raucous Wrigley Field.
September is your last chance. Time for one last cookout, one last road trip, and in September, one last chance to grab a great selection of 2003 Dodges in stock with our best deals, like cash allowances of up to $4,500 or 0% APR financing for 60 months on select models. Plus, get Dodge's fully transferable 7-year or 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Great products, great protection, great deals. See your local Dodge dealer for the best values in America.
If only all businesses were like Walgreens Pharmacy, then they'd give you automatic refills too. Because Walgreens can automatically refill your prescription before it runs out. And they call or email you when it's ready. So it's easier to keep track of all your prescriptions. Fortunately, there's at least one place that's designed around your needs. Walgreens. Why go anywhere else?
Shining is making your own choices. And at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, we help you do just that. By assisting, not dictating. By supporting your decisions, not making them. And by looking at things from a different perspective. Yours. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, shining through.
Behind them, a little too much fog. Ahead of them, a few too many people. But right now, life is perfect. Thanks to purple mountains, fruited plains, and the majestic power of an Acura TL.
2 big innings for the Cubs. 1 in the second, 1 in the 7th. 9-6 our score. Kenny Lofton remains in the game in center field. On to pitch the 8th is flamethrower Kyle Farnsworth.
Farnsworth on for the 74th time, a 3-2 record. ERA 3.52. Tony Alfonseca for the second time in as many days can be the winning pitcher.
Corky Miller's had a fine day at the plate. He's a perfect 2 for 2. He scored twice. He's also driven home a run with a sacrifice fly. Each team with 13 hits. Cub bullpen so far better than the Reds. Farnsworth tries to keep that string alive today.
And you figure with a couple days off before yesterday, Joe Borowski would be healthy and ready to go. There's a look at Farnsworth. Strikeouts in relief. Gagne by a wide margin, but the Farns is right up there.
Breaking ball bounced to the shortstop. Alex clean picked and good throw. 1 down.
You know, Chip, as things have become specialized in baseball, number one, there's a lot of acclaim, and number two, there's a lot of money in the setup man role. Kyle Farnsworth, I believe, fits perfectly into that role. He's had a very good year. He's improved his slider. And like most guys, especially guys with overwhelming stuff, and he falls in that category, if he throws strikes, he's real tough to hit. And right-handers, if he gets a slider over, they might as well go home.
Darnell Stenson, the batter. Stenson came on in the 7th yesterday with a 2-run scoring double. One ball, no strikes to him, and that's high and away, ball 2. Well, closers are real tough to find, and as you said, so are the setup guys. And there are many managers who feel that the game is lost more frequently in the 8th inning as opposed to the 9th inning, which makes guys like Farnsworth, who can get guys out in the 8th consistently, that much more valuable.
Well, that's been the one trouble inning. You know, for a while the Cubs had given up more 8th inning runs than anybody in baseball. And that's one of the reasons, I believe, why Marty Brenneman 3 months ago picked Houston and still today picks them, because the threesome of Lidge, Dotel, and Wagner make it very difficult. If you have the lead through 6, they turn over their bullpen, and they're very tough. Borowski's been great at the end. If Farnsworth can consistently get the job done, the Cubs become very good.
3-2. Speaking of Dotel, he's not been available for the Astros these last couple of days, but frankly, with their offense, they haven't needed him. He strained a muscle on his left side, his gluteus muscle, and so they think Dotel might be able to go tonight if needed against the Cardinals and Matt Morris, who starts. That plays to the outside corner. No chance for Stenson to pull the trigger. 2 quick outs.
The 3-1 pitch was questionable, not that one. Stinson goes down on strikes, and quickly there are 2 outs. I'd watch the bunt here. They're in at the corners. Olmedo has a couple of hits, but they need base runners.
They're down 3 runs. Olmedo's driven in 2 of them today. Reds were officially eliminated from any postseason consideration yesterday. The Cubs again trying to with the first W on the boards in the National League. Put some pressure on the Astros, who play the Cardinals tonight.
It's one big advantage if you win playing day games.
That's it.
You're posting the lead score in the clubhouse. If you can do it in golf, you put pressure on the guys coming in after you. You do it in baseball, and Houston knows to preserve first place all alone. They've got to beat a very good St. Louis team.
Two and 2. Milwaukee goes to the bottom of the 9th inning. San Francisco up, down a run. 5-4. Dan Kolb, you figure, will come on and try to close it. He saved 17 consecutive games.
I think it's closed already.
It appears so. Just a final in. Milwaukee wins it 5-4. The 2-2 pitch. Tipped off Damian Miller, and he took a wicked shot. So Davis and Ponson were the starters. The game of importance there in the National League playoff race, simply because the Giants and Braves within a couple of games of each other for home field advantage throughout.
Well, the reason I could tell you it was close so quickly is my modem's quicker than yours.
No doubt about it. Dr. Download returns. The 2-2 pitch. Little roller toward third. Ramirez barehanded play with a fast runner, and he made it. Three up, 3 down for the Farns in the 8th. Cubs have a 9-6 lead.
Chicago Cubs baseball brought to you by Southwest Airlines. More than 2,700 nonstop daily flights to 59 destinations all across the country.
around the country.
No two are the same. Their lives are as different as concrete and consulting, medicine and manufacturing. Here's to the small business owners, separated by the differences in where each is going, bound by the confidence they'll get there. Seeing small business differently. SBC.
Whether you're maneuvering through city streets or parking structures, the sophisticated Toyota Highlander is an easy choice. It gets excellent fuel efficiency and was named a best overall value by IntelliChoice. Tackling the day's activities can be an adventure. Finding an affordable SUV isn't.
Closed captioning for Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Jiffy Lube, Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana's well-oiled machine.
Well, how about Aramis Ramirez? He played very shaky defense the first couple of days with the Cubs over there. But since, he's looked like Brooks Robinson or Ron Santo. Take your pick.
How about this with the bare hand out of the air, throw in one motion because he knows Olmedo's got good speed. He's been brilliant at third. And the Cub fans know that it's Borowski time as Farnsworth leaves in favor of Martinez.
He'll pitch it leading off the 8th inning. Cubs 9, Reds 6. Cubs get 4 in the 7th to retake the lead. Now another lefty down in the Cincinnati bullpen just in case. Might be Dan Serafini. Started a couple of games for them. He's gotten hit pretty hard. 2 balls, no strikes. We close in on 6 o'clock. There's Serafini.
He was used as a pinch runner yesterday, so he shows his versatility.
All 3 from Morton.
You know, Dave Miley's a pretty good manager. He knows his personnel. So obviously with Serafini throwing in the pen, he probably thought Norton would be wild here.
He has been on the first 3 tosses. That one finds the zone. 3 balls and a strike. Same 2 teams tomorrow. Carlos Zambrano will tow the slab for the Cubs. That's a 1 o'clock start here in Chicago. Josh Hall will be the opponent. And a leadoff walk.
And I would think, Chip, you'll see a pinch runner for Martinez, who's had a little tweak of the hamstring.
And you will, David Kelton.
What a day for both boys who came over from the Dodgers. Grudzielanek, 2 driven in, 3 hits, 1 scored. Karros, 2 doubles, 4 driven in, 1 scored. And the rest of the lineup not too shabby either as the Cubs pound away at red pitching.
That catches the corner for a strike.
And they've had to because the Reds have pounded away at Cub pitching. It's tied at 13. Cubs fortunately have 3 more runs and looking for more.
Out of play to the right side. Don't forget to catch instant replay Sunday night for Cubs and White Sox post-game action. And the very latest updates on the Major League Baseball playoff races. Also have all today's National Football League highlights. Sunday night instant replay following the award-winning WGN News at 9. We'll tip things off at 9:40 Central Time. Grudzielanek swung at a ball off the plate. And there's the first out of the 8th inning.
Well, I'm sure that Joe Borowski would gladly give up a save opportunity if the Cubs could score another run or two.
Sammy's got a single and a run scored.
These last 2 days against the Reds have been very tough, very hard-fought games, and it really shows you that it does take a team coming together to win it, because when you look at the contributions, it's been up and down the bench and up and down the bullpen for the Cubs to win one yesterday and on the verge of winning one here today. Norton best be careful. That was very close to a balk. You have to at least have a semblance of a step toward first base when you make that throw to first.
One ball, no strikes. Way high, ball two. Top of the hour in the Central Time Zone, 6 o'clock. Cubs have outscored the Reds 9-6. That's bounced off a hard-packed dirt in front of home plate. And Sosa back to the batter's box on the foul ball. 2 balls and a strike. Your count. Let's pause for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN-TV, Chicago's WB.
With Steve Stone, Chip Carey, and our entire WGN crew, thanks again to Rich King for anchoring our push for the playoffs pregame special today.
It was nice to see him out here having an opportunity to get involved in what has been a most entertaining September.
Way upstairs to Sosa. 3 balls and a strike. Marlins lead trimmed to 6-2 today. Jack McKeon took over the Marlins. They were 6 games under 500. At the moment, they're 21 games over. A 27-game turnaround for the Fighting Fish. Some kind of job down there. Got Dontrell Willis going today. And Sammy, a base hit to right. Boy, that's a good sign, Steve. You talked about that earlier today. That's one of the rare times we've seen Sammy be able to go to right field.
Well, Sammy does that. If he takes that pitch away and goes that way, it's just a matter of time until he starts hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Norton stays away. Sammy at 3-1 is looking fastball. And he just drives it into right field. This guy's become not only a slugger but a real good hitter, and if he takes what's given to him, eventually pitchers will get tired of seeing him go that way, come inside, and that's the ball he'll hit out of the park.
Moises Alou's been on base twice and has scored twice. First and second for the Cubs. 1 man out. In the dirt. Ball 1 to Alou. Toronto beat Baltimore 6-1. Greg Myers, the Toronto catcher, an inside the park home run in that game today.
That's well, we've seen his speed. The outfielders must have collided.
One ball, no strikes. Later on tonight, Kansas City is in Detroit. The Tigers creeping closer and closer to 120 losses this year. Detroit enters play tonight 38 and 108.
They're not going to lose 120. They're going to be saved from the wreck.
That's downstairs, ball 2. White Sox hoping to have better luck in the strike zone against the Red Sox tonight. They'll play at Fenway Park. Bartolo Colon and Tim Wakefield, the scheduled starters there. The White Sox and Twins tied atop the AL Central. Minnesota will be in Cleveland. Kyle Lynn, the former Cub farmhand, will pitch against a rookie for the Tribe. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's David Kelton at second, Sammy Sosa at first. 14 Cub hits today.
Moises doesn't strike out very much, and Dusty's been aggressive all day, so I'm thinking they're going to send him. Casey's so far off the bag, Sammy can get a pretty good jump.
Three and 2. Runners are going, and Alou fouls it straight back. Wind blowing out. You got to pour on as many runs as you can.
Well, another factor, Chip, usually in a situation like this, where you have a real young guy at second, you're able to get a bigger lead. If you do happen to strike out the hitter, you get that throw to second base. You don't try to get the lead man, you get the trailer.
Again, the 3-2 pitch.
Although that's normally one of the trickiest plays in the game, it didn't work this time.
You just can't trust those lefties, can you? 3 balls, 2 strikes to Alou, who again wants time. Now Miller wants to go over the side. Boo, says the crowd here.
No, you can't boo anything that gets this game closer to 6:30.
No, I didn't think of it that way, Steve, but I see your point.
Tough day for Dave Miley, but he can be proud of the fact that his team has battled all the way. Yesterday was tough. Today is real tough.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Runners go. Fly ball hit to right. Stenson on the run. He'll camp out and put it away for the second out. Back to second goes Kelton. Back to first goes Sammy Sosa. And Aramis Ramirez ought to hear a pretty big cheer. Another good day for him. He's 4 for 8 in the series with a couple of RBIs. Zambrano and Hall tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Swing and a high fly ball, shallow left. Branyan broke back. Now he comes in and makes the play. And that'll retire the side. Cubs strand a pair in the 8th. Need 3 outs to pick up another win at home. And Joe Borowski on to try to nail it down.
So I got tickets to the game tomorrow night. I wasn't sure if you wanted to go.
Well, it doesn't sound like you want me to go.
What? Of course I want you to go. I just thought maybe, you know, with the crowd and all that.
You'd probably have a better time with Gary.
Gary? No.
Why don't you ask Gary? And we'll hook up on Saturday.
Okay. If you're sure.
I'm sure.
Okay, bye-bye. You're in.
Yes! I'm out! Let's go dancing.
That way.
Thanks.
You're closer to a Volkswagen than you think. In fact, really, really close.
Can I get another chicken?
Like dial-up? Imagine if everything just suddenly quit.
Right. That's it. I quit.
Unlike dial-up, Comcast high-speed internet doesn't just quit because it's always on. Best of all, it's now available at a dial-up price.
Voila. Bon appetit.
Waiter?
Do you have to go to the airport to rent from Hertz?
Not exactly.
There are hundreds of Hertz local edition locations all across the country, whenever you need a car locally. We also offer insurance replacement rates for when your car is in the shop. So come into your Hertz local edition. Or we'll come and get you.
Offensive day at the ballpark with the wind blowing out, as you'd expect. And on to tame the Reds in the ninth inning is Cub closer Joe Borowski, who's looking for save number 28 on the year.
Yesterday, Joe was on for a nerve-wracking ninth. A couple of hits, a couple of strikeouts, and he saved his 27th, making a winner of Tony Alfonseca. Trying to do the same here today.
And he'll face Hummel, Jimenez, and Casey for the Reds. Thanks as always to our great WGN crew. Our producer Pete Toma, director Skip Ellison, Mark Brady, our associate producer, and Ray did a great job producing the pregame show, pushed for the playoffs here at Wrigley Field. Bob Vorwald, our executive producer of WGN Sports, and thanks as always to our AD, the young Caesar Eric Welch, and our studio coordinator back at WGN, Joe Pizzo. A two-hit day for Hummel with a run scored and an RBI. Pretty good player they got from the White Sox. Mr. Hummel.
The ball hard a couple of times today. Made some good plays at third. And because he can play second, short, and third, he probably will find a place on the roster somewhere.
It's that ball hard, but into the seats. Again, the crowd today, huge. 39,983. The Cubs, Steve, today go over the 2.72 million mark. That would be one of the more remarkable stories in the history of this franchise if the Cubs continue to play good, solid baseball, stay in the race, take the lead in the division. Cubs have 7 home games left. Sosa comes charging. They got a shot at 3 million fans in this beautiful ballpark on Chicago's north side.
Scattered tickets for the next 3 games against Cincinnati tomorrow. 2 night games against the Mets. A lot of tickets available for Wednesday afternoon in what will be the 4th from the last home game this championship season. Sammy came on, made a good play. The Cubs now 2 outs away from ending this one and sending everybody home exceptionally happy.
They're underway in Houston. The Cardinals did not score in the first against Roy Oswalt. Matt Morris to the mound for Tony La Russa's Cardinals tonight. Jimenez 2 for 4 in the box. He homered in the 5th inning. And that one chopped toward third. Ramirez couldn't take away the in-between hop. Jimenez will put on the brakes and stop at first.
I think you're going to see that a base hit. But we'll wait and see. Tough play to his left. Ramos has come up with everything. Didn't come up with that. And we'll take another look at it. Short hop, very difficult play. Bob Rosenberg might want to revisit that one somewhere down the road. But he does charge him for the moment with an error.
So here's Casey. Casey 1 for 4 with an RBI. Again, Casey playing hurt these final 2 weeks. He's got a very sore groin. And the Reds may consider resting him for the series wrap-up tomorrow.
Well, for that very reason, if he hits the ball on the ground, you're probably looking at 2. Sean Casey is grounded into 17 double plays. Number 18 would look awfully good. Ramirez playing wide of the line. They're playing him as a guy who will hit the ball up the middle. That's why you don't want to throw sliders inside to him. And Joe's strength is the backdoor slider, the one that's on the outside corner.
Great start so far to this baseball week in Chicago at Wrigley Field. The Cubs came back to win 7-6 yesterday. They've come back to take a 9-6 lead here in game 2 of the set. Carlos Zambrano will take the ball tomorrow. He'll look for his 14th win of the year. Two and two. Tomorrow will be on Fox Sports Net Chicago, as will be Monday night's game against the Mets. Tuesday and Wednesday against New York. The Cubs will throw Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood in the final 2 games of that Mets series. Then we go to Pittsburgh, 4 games in 3 days, and we'll have the last 2 at PNC Park here on WGN. The 2-2 pitch. Little roller. Eric Karros leaps. He'll go to second. Low throw, and what a pickup there. What a pickup by Alex Gonzalez. That is a Gold Glove worthy play right there, folks. There's your second out.
Eric decides that the best throw is to second, but he has no angle for the throw. He's, I'm sure, a little unhappy with himself. All you have to do is pivot. You know Casey's got a bad leg. Just make the flip to first base. Get the out. As it was, you're right. Alex Gonzalez with a great pickup, and you don't have to face a tying run now. That one could turn out to be a game saver, depending on the resolution of the Branyan at bat.
It was 1 for 3 with an infield hit last time up. On their feet at Wrigley Field, a ball outside. 15 runs, 27 hits, 2 errors today by these clubs combined. Houston down 1-2-3 in their half for the first. Go Cardinals, go at Minute Maid Park. That's the middle game of 3 in Houston. There's the back door, 1-2.
Well, Joe Borowski has established he can throw that slider over the outside corner anytime he wants. Consequently, that outside corner moves further away. Throw it there, you get the out.
This great crowd will tell you the resolution of the pitch. The Cubs win again. 9-6 the final score. They're wearing out that white flag here at Wrigley Field in the big innings. Tony came late. Kenny Lofton in the 7th led it off with a double. He scored, as did 3 of his teammates. The 4-run frame pulled the Cubs back into the lead. And the pen again, a terrific job by and large.
In the end, Alfonseca, Farnsworth, and Joe Borowski, as he's been all year long, right there to nail it down. Cubs come back again. They let a lead get away. They came back and recaptured it. The pitch up in the zone by Branyan. Bye-bye Reds. 2-0 in the series. More of the same tomorrow, and what a September it's going to be.
So for the 2nd straight day, Antonio Alfonseca picks up a win. He's now 3-1 on the year. Matt Belial takes the loss. The youngster for the Cincinnati Reds will see his record fall to 1-1. And Joe Borowski picks up number 28 before a huge standing room only crowd of 39,983 today at Wrigley Field. So as this crowd celebrates a 3-run victory, let's look at some of our plays at the game. Another big 3-hit afternoon, Steve, from Mark Grudzielanek.
Mark Grudzielanek, Eric Karros were just brilliant today. We were drawing in infield, he drives it through, and the Cubs start to mount their comeback. Kenny Lofton keyed it with a double to lead off the inning. Veterans off the bench late turn into victories. 27 hits, a 3-run Cub win.
And one of those veterans off the bench who got a starting assignment today is joining us. Eric, thanks as always for your time. Eric Karros, what a day for you guys. You can get used to 40,000 people going nuts with every pitch, can't you?
Yeah, well, we're keeping it exciting for everybody. It seems, you know, we're coming from ahead to get back in the game. You know, the last 2 days we've, you know, it seemed we get out to an early lead and things look real good for us, and we dig ourselves a hole, and it provides for a lot of excitement. And if in the end we come out winning, I guess that's what it's all about.
And Eric, you've been around so long with so many teams of varying degrees. You've seen this ball club seemingly coming together at the perfect time. The mood in the clubhouse for this team going out there on a daily basis, knowing you do have your fate in your own hands, what is it at this time?
Well, it's exciting. I think for us, winning yesterday's ball game was probably as big a game as we've had, just because we'd come off 2 defeats that, you know, really for all intents and purposes, we shouldn't have lost either one of those ball games. And for us to win yesterday, carry that momentum into today, I mean, we've got to win these games. If we expect to be playing in the postseason, and we want to, you know, make a statement, we have got to win these ball games. And fortunately, we've won 2, and we've got 1 tomorrow now.
Eric, you've been an everyday player your entire career. You have seen a whole lot of playing time in a variety of roles for Dusty Baker. We've talked at length about the Dusty Baker's second half magic with teams he's managed. It's carried over to this Cub team. We've also speculated that a lot of it has to do with the fact that he uses everybody on the roster. Is that something that's important for the chemistry of a club? Well, that everybody knows they've got a hand to play in whatever success the team has?
You know, I remember in the playoffs in '95, we had played the Cincinnati Reds, and Jim Bowden made a comment that you win with, you know, those 6 or 7 guys on the bench, not those 8 guys you're running out every day. And what he meant by that is you've got to have everybody contributing, and that's what we've got here. We may not have the best 8 guys or the best starting lineup as compared to some other ball clubs, but you know, I'd match our 14 or 15 guys, position players, with anybody in the league. We're as deep as anybody, and that's how you're going to win ball games.
Well, Eric, when you look around and you look at that bench, it is a veteran bench. It's a bunch of guys who have been in postseason play with whatever team, all coming together. Do you have to learn how to win as a team, or is it something that you guys know from other places?
Well, you know, coming here to Chicago, a lot of us have heard that, you know, haven't won in 95 years and lovable losers and that sort of thing. And fortunately for us, there's about 14, 15, probably more than that now, probably about 20 guys that really don't know anything about that and haven't had to go through that and experience that and be inundated with, hey, you know, you guys are going to choke in September, or you're not going to be around. And we've been able to just go out and play, and Dusty's been a big part of that from day 1 in spring training. You know, he had made the statement to us in the clubhouse that he didn't care about last year, he didn't care about 20 years ago, he didn't care about 95 years ago, and you know, that we were going to create our own situation, and so far we have, and it's been a pretty good situation, and hopefully it'll get better in these next few weeks.
Well, Eric, as always, we appreciate your time. It's been a lot of fun watching you play, and you've been a big part of this terrific season to this point. Let's keep it going. A series sweep perhaps tomorrow, and then the Mets for 3 more, and expect standing room fans screaming at your every move tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Eric Karros, our guest. He had a big day today at the plate, Stoney. 2 doubles, 4 RBIs, a run scored, and the big veteran from Los Angeles helps the Cubs post another white flag atop the Wrigley Field scoreboard. A 9-6 final here in Chicago. We'll take a break, come back with more right after this.
From Orlando, Florida, tomorrow on the WB, Drew Carey, Holly Robinson Pete, Jamie Kennedy, and Mr. Moneybags. It's the media event you've heard about all summer, and you'll be there. One person may win the largest cash prize in television history. $1 billion. That's 1 billion with a B. Someone could cash in. Pepsi's Play for a Billion. Sunday night at 7 on WGN, Chicago's WB.
The best things in life are pure. Aquafina, purity guaranteed.
Boy, you sure got stuff. Where do you put it all?
Nissan dealers show you a new Murano at $28,739. We've got nothing to hide. You might, of course. Nissan Murano.
September is your last chance. Time for one last cookout. One last road trip, and in September, one last chance to grab a great selection of 2003 Dodges in stock with our best deals, like cash allowances of up to $4,500, or 0% APR financing for 60 months on select models. Plus, get Dodge's fully transferable 7-year or 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Great products, great protection, great deals. See your local Dodge dealer for the best values in America.
I shall love you forever, Ethan. Attention, Earthlings. I come in peace. Avalanche! Help me!
That's fun for some. Playing the games from the Illinois Lottery. That's fun for all. Players have more fun.
Avalanche!
Offensive day at the ballpark in Chicago, and the Cubs win it 9-6. 14 hits, 1 error for the Cubs, who won it. 6 runs, 13 hits, 1 error for the Reds. Alfonseca wins his second game of the series. Belial the loser, and Joe Borowski picks up his 28th save of the year. Our next Cubs telecast on WGN Sports. Well, first things first, my mistake. It'll be the push for the playoffs. Don't forget, on the south side of town, the White Sox will be here on WGN tomorrow. That's at 1 o'clock, and Dan Roan is at Fenway Park for push for the playoffs at 12:30 as the Sox and Red Sox play their game in Beantown. Now we go to our next WGN telecast. That's Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Mark Pryor is scheduled to pitch for the Cubs against a Met pitcher yet to be named. All the fun starts at 7 o'clock as the Cubs get their second of 3 looks at the New York Mets. And we will also have another push for the playoffs for the Cubs next Sunday from Pittsburgh's PNC Park. That'll be at 12 noon Central Time. What a day at Wrigley Field. The crowd treated to a seesaw ball game. 39,000 plus roared when Joe Borowski picked up his 28th save. Cubs have won the first 2 games of the set and go for the sweep here tomorrow. Thanks to our great crew, as always, on this busy sports weekend. For Steve Stone and everybody else at WGN Sports, Chip Carey from Wrigley Field, thanks for joining us. White flag time. Cubs win at 9-6. Till next time, so long, everybody.
Chicago Cubs baseball, brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. The Illinois Lottery, where players have more fun. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Chicago Cubs. And by Southwest Airlines, more than 2,700 nonstop daily flights to 59 destinations all across the country. Gifts are provided by Howard From Jewelers on the 8th floor at 5 South Wabash. Howard From. You want to buy a watch?
After years of analyzing, refining, and perfecting, Lexus engineers had to face the most difficult challenge of all: letting go. Introducing the new, more powerful ES330.
Oh. Yeah. Do me a favor, can you... Wow.
Men.
McDonald's presents a feast for the eyes and stomach. For a limited time only, get 2 delicious Quarter Pounder with cheese sandwiches for just $2.22. That's 2 great sandwiches at 1 great price.
Wow.
You're home for Smallville.
This is WGN, Chicago's WV.
Got him. He was wonderful that year. He's been wonderful this year. I give him the award. And the one thing that we have to talk about, Chip, is also Rookie of the Year. And in the National League, that's an intriguing race because you've got Dontrell Willis throwing the ball exceptionally well in Florida. You've got some other young pitchers who've done a great job. You have Brandon Webb done a terrific job, but his record now evening out. If you look at his ERA and you look at the fact that he only throws ground balls, and he did that for quite some time. That being said, we just had a chance to see Scott Podsednik. Now, he showed us enough, I believe, both defensively, offensively, and speed-wise, for me to get the nod as the Rookie of the Year, because even though Dontrell Willis has been great, and I think that he deserves great consideration, when he got an opportunity, Podsednik came into a difficult situation. They ask you to lead off, play center field in the major leagues, play every day, and play for a team that's not going to win it, get enough adrenaline for a team that's going to finish way up the track. And Podsednik's hitting in the high 3 teens. Dontrell Willis, a very close competitor. He's been magnificent. He's a breath of fresh air for baseball at 21 years old. I love his attitude. I love what he's done for the game of baseball. I read his quotes all the time. He's an engaging young man who's had a magnificent season. My vote goes to Scott Podsednik.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think what's refreshing about the Podsednik selection is this is a guy that might be on his last chance in baseball. He's been with a couple of different organizations, and Doug Melvin, who's taken over a very difficult situation with the Milwaukee Brewers, a low-revenue, small-market team with a brand-new ballpark and all kinds of problems and injuries throughout their minor league system. They've done a real good job in hiring Ned Yost, who I think has done a magnificent job in his first season with the Milwaukee Brewers. He's got a lot of players on that team who are playing hard. They play the game right, and that is personified by Scott Podsednik. They're out of the race. They know it. They're building for the future. But when you talk to that Milwaukee staff about Scott Podsednik, he comes to work with a great attitude every day. He wants to learn something every day, and he plays the game like the rest of his teammates, right and with the respect the game deserves.
And that being said, and both of us of like mind in that respect, I think if anybody has a chance to trade for Dontrell Willis, they would do it. Florida's not going to give him up. The Florida Marlins story has been a great one. We all know about the low-revenue team. We all know about the fact that they don't draw near as many people as they would like. They draw many more people when Dontrell pitches. He threw a gem in Puerto Rico, where we just came, in a very small ballpark. He beat their best, Javier Vasquez, 3-1. Dontrell's been great. At 21 years old and a lefty who can get the ball over the plate, who can hit, who can run, and keep the game in perspective as he can. He's a very valuable commodity. I just don't think that he's the most valuable rookie or Rookie of the Year this year.
Well, now that we've got the National League figured out, we're going to take a break and take on world peace. After a quick remunerative message, we'll take a trip through the American League and talk about potential award winners, at least as far as our opinions are concerned. The rain is lightening up here in Chicago. We'll cool off for a moment and step aside as we continue Rain Delay Theater here on WGN Sports.
Tonight on the WB Friday, the decision has been made.
I want to move in with you and Barbara Jean.
What? On the 1-hour season premiere of Reba.
Make her stay.
You don't make Kira do anything. I learned that during 56 hours of labor.
Reba's given up a lot to her ex-husband. She's not about to give up her daughter without a fight.
I'm not going to hurt you.
Not if I keep my guard up, you're not.
The 1-hour season premiere of Reba.
Tonight at 7 on WGN, Chicago's WB.
Tonight on the WB, they're not your typical family. They're loud.
Don't you go slamming doors in my house.
Too honest.
Plus, you know, I have lost a little weight. Yeah, well, look behind you. You'll find it.
And they've got different views on career choices.
Being an actor is a 24-hour-a-day gig. I hope you ain't looking to get none of my 9-to-5 money. You better hope he never needs a kidney.
The comedy premiere, all about the Andersons.
Premiering tonight at 8:30 on WGN, Chicago's WB.
In 2 days on the WB Sunday. One night only, someone may win $1 billion. That's right, $1 billion. From Orlando, Florida, Drew Carey, Holly Robinson Pete, Jamie Kennedy, and Mr. Moneybags host.
I'd like to make a withdrawal.
What could be the largest cash payout in television history. But the real star of the show? The dough, baby.
The team is in place.
Be there when history happens. Pepsi's Play for $1 billion.
Sunday night at 7 on WGN.
Again, we're in a rain delay in Chicago. For all intents and purposes, the precipitation is almost stopped here at the ballpark, but still no sign of the grounds crew. We are delayed. Cincinnati with a 5-run Top of the 7th inning has taken a 6-5 lead. And Steve, as intriguing and as exciting as this Cubs season has been for Chicago baseball fans, we would be remiss in our duties if we didn't talk about what was happening on the south side of town. It's a funny game. There were a lot of people who thought Jerry Manuel was in big trouble with that White Sox team in the first half. Well, all they've done is put together a great second half. Frank Thomas having an MVP caliber season, and the White Sox are tied for first in the AL Central.
Well, a lot of people didn't believe that Kansas City would hang around as long as they hung around for a number of different reasons. We have the same constraints as a lot of other teams, the low budget small market team. That's why I think the manager of the year in the American League is going to go to Tony Pena. I think he's been magnificent. I think the fact that Kansas City hung around as long as they hung around is a testament to the enthusiasm, the preparation, the intelligence, and the desire that Tony Pena brings to the field. Now, don't short sell Beltran and Sweeney, because that's a team, along with Harvey, that has really done a great job. Joe Randa at third base has done a great job. Their young pitchers came through early. That being said, Kansas City has started to drop out of the race, and everybody felt that it would be Minnesota and the White Sox before the day was done. That's exactly how it's going to end. Looking down the road, Minnesota has an easier schedule. That doesn't mean a great deal. If the White Sox are going to win, and we've talked about it a number of times, over 162, there's no miracles. The best team wins. You go through injuries, you have hot streaks, cold streaks, you have bad luck, you have good luck. Over 162, the best team always wins. In a short series, anybody can. So the White Sox have their destiny in their hands. They're tied with Minnesota. If they can win it, they'll have to go the tough route. They'll have to beat the Yankees. They'll have to beat the Red Sox. They have the ability to do it. And will they do it? I don't know. We're not soothsayers. We don't have a crystal ball. But I do know at the end of the day, over 162, the best team is going to win that division. If it's the White Sox, give them a pat on the back, because they're going to do it the hard way.
Well, there's some great stories with that White Sox ball club. Anybody could have had Esteban Loaiza. Nobody knew he was going to rattle off 19 wins this year. He's done that. He's been terrific, as has been Kenny Williams. I think both Chicago executives should be the executive of the year. Jim Henry for the Cubs, Kenny Williams for the White Sox. He got Everett, he got Alomar, and he's got that team in first place. It's been a great baseball summer. In fact, it's been almost 100 years since both the Cubs and Sox were this close to first place.
Well, we didn't touch on the executive of the year, and that's another award that's given out. And I agree with you. I think for the first time maybe ever, I think Chicago is going to get both of those awards. And if you take a look at what they did, number one, in remaking teams in the wintertime, number two, in getting close to that draft deadline or trade deadline on the 31st, you realize that Kenny Williams was very busy. He was busy earlier than most people, and he was busier than most people. He got the job done, and the White Sox left for dead for a while, 7 or so games back, fought their way back. Kenny Williams, in large part, was one of the guys responsible for that. On this side of town, Jim Henry had a lot of work to do. If you look in spring training and what this team was last year, and you realize what they are now, you'll realize how much work he did over the wintertime. That being said, the team that was playing through June and July wouldn't have been here without the acquisitions that Jim Henry made, going to Pittsburgh and bringing in Aramis Ramirez, who's been great at third, Kenny Lofton, who's been wonderful at the top. You take a look at some of the additions. Doug Glanville has contributed. Randall Simon's been very good. He added to the bullpen. He did just exactly what he had to do to keep this team in contention. At the end of the day, just like the White Sox in the other league, the toughest team is going to win the Central. If it's the Cubs, that'll be a wonderful story for baseball and a wonderful story for Chicago. If the Cubs could play the White Sox in the World Series, even a better story. That being said, postseason awards will come when they come. We've got 16 real exciting games, with the exception of a third of the game left here, so 15 and a third real exciting games left. Let's see if the Cubs can go get it.
Well, you know, Cubs fans are excited. How about the fans in the hub? Boston, Massachusetts, they're going crazy. The Red Sox are only 4 games behind the New York Yankees, as at the moment the Red Sox would be the wild card participant in the American League. And as exciting as it would be for baseball fans to see an all-Chicago World Series, could anybody imagine a Boston-Chicago Cub World Series with Fenway Park versus Wrigley Field?
Well, if you take a look at what Brian Cashman, but especially Theo Epstein, did toward the end, he remade his bullpen. He had to. He went and got Williamson, and he got Kim, and he got Brandon Line back again after he traded him to Pittsburgh, but that's another story. But there's a whole different relief corps for Boston. Now, the break they got in the wild card race is that Seattle, for whatever reason, just stopped hitting, and they had some problems with their rotation. Seattle's still a quality club. Anytime you can put Ichiro in the lineup every day, you got Brett Boone at second, you have Edgar Martinez as a DH, and you have Jamie Moyer anchoring a pitching staff, you think you're in pretty good shape. That being said, Boston is a team that you look for the wild card. I don't think they're going to catch the Yankees, but Boston's done a great job of remaking their team. It's going to be a wonderful postseason. The Red Sox are hoping to hang on. The Yankees, of course, will do whatever they can. And it was really funny to watch the trades. Boston make a move, the Yankees make a move, and they went back and forth and back and forth. I think the Yankees will hold on as far as the division. It looks like Boston right now has got a real good shot. But again, they don't have an easy path either. So maybe if you're looking at schedules, Seattle might have a little easier path than Boston. Boston has one thing that neither of those teams have, and that is that hammer at the top in Pedro Martinez. He's just awesome.
Out west, Oakland's got a 2-game lead over the Seattle Mariners, or 2.5-game lead over Seattle, I should say. And that's been one of the grand designs of Billy Bean's ball club, like Dusty Baker when he managed the San Francisco Giants. Oakland has always been a tremendous second-half team, and boy, they really dropped the hammer in the month of August. They raced to the top of the division, and there are some folks in Seattle who are very concerned that they may not sniff first place again. The Mariners didn't make any deals at the trade deadline. Oakland was aggressive. They added. They're in first place.
Well, Oakland, like they do every year, does it with timely hitting, not overpowering, but tremendous starting pitching. And that's a credit to Billy Bean, everybody associated with that organization, a few of whom, by the way, have gone to Texas and Toronto. But they were in place long enough to bring them Mulder, who's hurt for the rest of the year. Remember the name Rich Harden, one of the good young pitchers to come in the game. And along with Hudson and Zito, it gives them a starting rotation that has been able to pull away. There's some guys that you haven't heard about. Ted Lilly, one of them, the left-hander. John Halama, another left-hander. But Oakland shows enough pitching late to usually wind up on top or near it. And I think Oakland, with dominating starting pitching, and it really hurt to lose Mark Mulder because he's one of the best left-handers in baseball. It seems to me that they're going to hang on and win their division. I think it's somewhat surprising that Seattle has run into the hard times they have. They still can right the ship. As far as catching Oakland, it's going to be a little difficult.
How about the award winners now in the American League? Who's going to win the Cy Young? You've got Loaiza with 19 wins. Roy Halladay, the first to 20 last night for Toronto.
That's going to be an interesting race, and Roy Halladay has had such a tremendous year. You can't overestimate the importance to their respective clubs of a pitcher who can dominate. And if you look for the miracle stories, everybody knew that Halladay was a pretty good pitcher. Toronto's not going to get there. You don't consider postseason play when you consider the Cy Young Award. But Esteban Loaiza is one of the biggest stories in the game. Andy Pettit does it just about every year. Jamie Moyer playing in his first All-Star game at the age of 40, a terrific story. I think it goes to Esteban Loaiza. He's been magnificent. He's probably the biggest reason why Chicago White Sox are tied for first place. That being said, Halladay would be a wonderful candidate for it. I sometimes, if all things are being equal, you give it to the guy pitching in a pennant race. Unfortunately, Toronto is not that team. The White Sox are that team. And so I think if Loaiza, within maybe a win of Halladay or 2 wins of Halladay, he comes up and gets the award at the end.
Let's turn our attention to offense in the American League. A lot of MVP candidates as far as the batsmen are concerned over in the junior circuit. A lot of folks on the south side of town think that Frank Thomas, with a rejuvenated season, is deserving of MVP consideration for the White Sox.
Well, there's a guy that's not going to win the MVP, but he is one of the great stories in the game, and that's a guy that played right here in Chicago. We saw him at third base, and he might still be there, but for that horrific crash against that scoreboard in St. Louis. That's Bill Miller. He's leading the American League in batting average. What a story it is for Bill Miller, who truly is one of the nicest guys in baseball. You expect Derek Jeter to do it. You know Manny Ramirez is a dominant hitter, as is Maglio Ordonez. Bill Miller's the surprise in that group. As far as MVP, he's not going to get that. The MVP for me every year, when you consider his contributions, what he means to the baseball team, the fact that he's a leader in a difficult situation, and at sometimes the guy that they look to for all of the leadership on a great team, Derek Jeter is a man that will be given heavy consideration. I know the Yankees are a big market team. I know they spend a lot of money. I also know that if Derek Jeter is not in that lineup on a daily basis, the New York Yankees are not going to hold their position against the Boston Red Sox.
Well, you'll recall a couple of weeks ago when the Red Sox were in Boston, they played very well in the Bronx. Derek Jeter, with an injury problem, came back, played hurt. The Yankees won the game after losing 2 without him in the lineup. That gives you an indication of the intangibles he indeed does bring to that New York ball club. I want to argue with you now. I think I know the answer to this. Who's going to be the Rookie of the Year in the American League? Is it Hideki Matsui, who is a professional player over in Japan, comes over a very polished player, or will Rocco Baldelli of Lou Pinilla's Tampa Bay Devil Rays earn consideration?
Well, if I had a choice, and again, obviously we don't have a choice because I haven't seen the ballot quite yet, the way the award is structured, where you see Hideo Nomo win it, you see Ichiro win it, I think that certainly Matsui is going to be given full credit to win it. For me, the Rookie of the Year is Rocco Baldelli. You're right, Matsui came over as a polished player. Baldelli, in his first year in the major leagues, has been above 300 most of the year. He plays a more demanding position than Matsui. And in this award, I don't think you go with the team that wins it. I think you go with the player that's had the best year. In the case of those two guys, with the demanding position that center field is, I give it to Rocco Baldelli. I think he's been magnificent. His chances over the course of his career are excellent because he's so young. There's going to be a lot of folks, because Matsui's in New York, that are automatically going to give him the big market vote. We've seen it in Los Angeles a lot as they dominated the Rookie of the Year for many years. And obviously, when you look at guys like Mike Piazza and all the other guys that were Rookies of the Year for the Dodgers, you'd have to say they deserved it. Hideo Nomo was a polished pitcher when he was awarded the Rookie of the Year. Matsui is a polished player. Ichiro was a polished player, maybe the best player to ever come out of Japan. That being said, Rocco Baldelli is my candidate.
Wow. You go out on a limb, and I agree with you. I think that the award ought to be renamed the Best First-Year Player, because the term rookie brings to mind different connotations for a lot of different people, just like the MVP award brings. If it's the Best Player of the Year or the Player of the Year instead of the MVP, I think you'd have a lot less disagreement. But heck, arguing's the biggest sport in all of baseball.
Well, the wonderful thing about this is that you people at home thinking about the awards that we talk about also have wonderful opinions. It doesn't mean that our opinion is right. It doesn't mean that your opinion is right, because none of us have a vote. But baseball's a beautiful game because of a couple of different things. Number one, I think it's the best game ever devised because the bases are the same distance they were, and the ground ball to shortstop that's handled cleanly, both at the turn of the century and now with guys faster, bigger, and stronger than ever, that guy still gets thrown out at first base. It's the best game because it doesn't have a time clock, because it can take forever, because you have wonderful things like rain delays, and you get a chance to expound on your baseball knowledge. But it's also a great game because in this game, there is no black and white. All there are shades of gray. Our opinion doesn't mean any more than your opinion at home, doesn't mean any more than Jim Henry's opinion. He gets a deciding vote on personnel. That's the advantage of being a general manager. And that's why Paul Rathje is talking right now, talking to Steve Ripley, and he's saying, look, it rains in Chicago. I don't know why it seems to rain when the Cubs are in town. The last time it did rain was when the Cubs were playing St. Louis. 11 straight days with no rain, and lo and behold, the first game of the series, and we have more rain.
And so, speaking of shades of gray, Paul Rathje's hair